Fox News.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors, The Chris and Amy Show.
Check it out.
St. Louis, Mound City, we are going to have a great day today.
On 104.1 FM.
Let's take it from the top.
KMOX.
What a fine morning it is in St. Louis. John Hancock is in for Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Good morning to all of you. Join us today, would you? 314-436-7900. Since nobody calls or texts me anymore,
I know.
Then, you can, just to make me feel better about me. And John would like to hear from you, too.
Oh, I would.
Also, Odyssey app. Listen to the show there. You could stream it live. Podcasts are available later. It's all there for you, so anything you miss is there. But there is a feature with there's a little button that says send a message. You can tap it, record a message to send to the show, and you might get to hear it on the air. We are streaming live also visually. If you want to look at us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX.
Not
Time
recommended.
now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, it seemed like it was about to happen for the last several weeks, and it did. City SC, the soccer team here in town, has fired their head coach, Olaf Melberg, and they've done so with, just half a season played? Not even that. 15 games, and he is out.
That was quick. And President Trump accuses Vladimir Putin of playing with fire. And President Trump is weighing sanctions against Russia.
We'll talk to Joe Khalil from News Nation about that. Also, the Cardinals, they win over the Baltimore Orioles, so they're going to have a rubber match tonight. John, you know what a rubber match is, don't you?
That's where you find out which side of the rubber you're on.
Well, no. It's when, the 3-game series.
Yes.
And it's split.
Somebody's got to win.
Someone's got to win.
lose.
Somebody's got to win.
Snooker, we call that a decider.
Oh, well, the decider is tonight.
Yes, sir.
The Cardinals will play at 5:35 in Baltimore. We have the 4:41 pitch right here on KMOX. And by the way, it is Edward Roscoe Murrow. I know you were wondering, because of KMOX, in case you hadn't heard, won several Murrow awards.
We got a whole wall full of them.
We do, but we just won 3 more.
I know.
Or 4 more, was it?
The Murrows are stacking up around here.
This place, just an award-winning station.
It's full of Murrow.
Yeah, so Edward R. Murrow, one of the great journalists in history.
He was.
So as I mentioned, I think if you're a soccer fan and have been following closely with the team and what's been going on, this seemed inevitable because they haven't won in 2 months. They haven't won a game in 2 months.
That's not good.
No. However, John.
So did this coach ever produce a victory in his entire coaching career?
Oh, yeah. They won here earlier in the season. They do have wins. They're not winless all year.
They fired Carnell after the season last year, right?
No, they fired him
during the season
at the beginning of July last year.
Okay.
So now they are on. If you're a player and you've been around since the beginning of last year, this will be the 4th head coach that you've dealt with, because now they have an interim head coach, guy who's running the City 2 team. So he's their head coach now. But it's fascinating just from a sports perspective, because this happens very rarely. In fact, I can't really off the top of my head think of a time.
1 year.
Not even 1 year.
Right. Yeah.
Where you're hired, unless you've done something wrong, like, I don't know, mail fraud. Usually if you get hired, you get at least 1 year. And even if you get that first year and into the second year, it's not going well and they fire you mid-season, that's still considered to be relatively early.
Yeah.
Usually you get a couple of years. So Olaf did not. And it sucks for us because we have determined Olaf Melberg to be the handsomest man in St. Louis, and now he's leaving. Yeah. Have you seen him?
I have not seen Olaf Melberg.
John.
Where's he from?
I thought Sweden.
Yeah, I think Sweden is right.
Probably.
Yes.
Huh.
See, it's one of the Scandinavian countries.
Yeah,
of course, they're all beautiful over
there.
there.
They really are.
So, yeah. It's just a development you kind of knew was coming, but City is in a very disappointing situation right now because if you remember it, before the year even started, Carolyn Kindle Betts was on one of the City's produced interviews that she was doing, and she said we have to make the playoffs this year. This is
not going to happen.
This is a playoff year, and they have been greatly disappointed.
I haven't checked. How's the attendance been?
Pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I've been the second to last home game they've had. I went to it, and it was good. A lot of people there. The place is packed. I mean, there are some empty seats, but for the most part, tickets are sold. It still does really well. It is still a ticket to get, despite all the losing. I will say this about St. Louis. They have come out. They've come out in support of that team since its inception. And, of course, they had the really good year at the beginning. And maybe they gave us some unreasonable expectations because they were the best team in the conference.
I mean, that was incredible.
Right. So that probably shouldn't have happened. But it shouldn't be this bad. They are second to last in the conference right now. They have won twice.
There's a lot of teams in that league, man. I mean, what, 30 teams?
It's 30. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they are 14 of 15 in the Western Conference. But, I mean, can you think of a time a coach has come in 15 games and they're out? And we're talking like 3 months into the season.
Yeah, I could be wrong about this, but I remember a Big Red coach, football Cardinal coach, Bob Holloway. And I know he had but he probably lasted the full year, but he may have gotten fired before that season was over. That was a long time ago when I was a wee little lad.
When you were a little lad?
Yes.
Well, I don't remember that at all.
Before your time, Ron.
Yeah, it was before my time. Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully City has to, they're on a good trajectory here. Hopefully from here on out. I don't know that it is all entirely coaching. I think there are some roster issues for sure. And one thing that has to be done, and I am such a proponent of spending money on a roster. I know there's this philosophy out there that you don't have to spend money in order to win in sports. We hear it a lot in baseball, that there are teams that can win. Look at the Tampa Bay Rays. They never spend money, and they always find ways to win. Yeah, they do. You can do it that way.
You can't sustain it.
You can't. It's very difficult to, and I don't recommend it because all it does is it limits the avenues that you have to win games. Because you're basically saying we have to be perfect on the margins. We have to make all the right moves in personnel. Otherwise, we cannot cover up any mistakes, right? Because we're not going to spend past the mistakes. So you're basically putting it on your front office, whatever sport you're in. You're putting it on the front office to be perfect.
And player development. And you think about all of the heralded rookies that have come up in baseball and just haven't materialized. I mean, they're okay, but none of them are the caliber of player you thought you were going to get.
Right.
And so your player development system has to be virtually flawless.
Which is a really tough ask. It's a tough ask for those teams to make sure they're perfect. And it's not that City SC spends no money, but they're going to have to probably start spending a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
In that first year, they did spend some money. They brought in Tim Parker. Roman Berkey makes a good chunk of change. I imagine João Klaus does as well. But yeah, and the other problem when you're basing it all on player development is you're taking 18 and 19-year-old kids having no idea how they're going to mature, if they're going to mature, and what their work ethic is necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a high risk proposition.
Well, we'll see what happens here, but hopefully this is the start of something better for City SC because the fans have been supportive of the team, and they're going to have to reward these fans, I think. And by the way, Marianne is watching us on Facebook and says, agree. He's so good looking. We're talking about Olaf.
Oh, I'm going to say
not about us. Not about us.
There you go.
John Hancock is in with me. Amy Markscores is out. I'm Chris Ranji. It's good to have you with us. 314-436-7900. On the show today, we're going to talk to John Rooney, the voice of the team. He's with us at 10:30. We'll have a Battlehawks player right before that at 10:15. wide receiver Blake Jackson is going to be on the show.
Nice.
And Brian McKenna Day is coming up May 31st. We talked to J.C. Corcoran last week, who is emceeing the event, and the founder of the St. Louis Hero Network, Charlie Metzner, is going to join the show. That'll be at 11 o'clock today. So there's a lot coming up on the show. We are glad you are with us.
Fun.
It's the Chris and Amy Show with John Hancock on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Start your summer with a weekend showdown. Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers roll into Busch Stadium June 6th through the 8th. Be there Friday for a cool new promo, the first ever Cardinals neck fan. Perfect for hot game days. Then on Sunday, young fans 15 and under take home a Rawlings Kids Glove. It's a weekend of big matchups and big giveaways. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Mason Wynn, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Hey parents, looking for something fun and unforgettable to do with the kids? Bring the whole family to a Cardinals game at Busch Stadium. From kid-friendly activities and giveaways to awesome promotions like Kids Run the Bases. Your little ones will have a blast, and so will you. Check out Family Sundays, presented by Smithfield, where select tickets include a free jumbo hot dog and soda. There's nothing like sharing the magic of Cardinals baseball together. Make your memories this summer at Busch Stadium. Tickets are available at cardinals.com.
I really need funding to expand my inventory.
Swish Funding can help you expand inventory, upgrade equipment, and boost your cash flow.
Well, okay, but I need funding fast.
Swish Funding provides funding from $25,000 to $2 million with payment terms tailored to your needs and cash in your account in less than 24 hours.
So what's the catch?
No catch. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000, you could qualify. Just go to swishfunding.com to apply. That's swishfunding.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Do you love your house and hate the thought of assisted living? Whether you're caring for a loved one in your home right now or planning to live independently in the years ahead, call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. They can completely remodel your old bathroom in just 3 days and back up their work with a 100% satisfaction guarantee on both their quality and craftsmanship. If all you need is a new walk-in tub or easy entry shower to make your life easier, they could do just that for you. Avoid the hassle and stress of remodeling. Check them out on the web at 3daykitchen.com or call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath for your free design consultation today. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. It's about time.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
Wynn plays behind the runner at second base. The pitch. Ground ball to the first baseman. That's picked by Burleson. He kicks the bag for a Redbird winner. Henderson is out 3 unassisted, and this ball game has come to an end. The Cardinals even the series with a 7-4 victory at Camden Yards.
How about the Birds, John? They got a chance of, what'd you call it? The decider?
The decider today, yeah.
I'm the decider. Is that what that means? Yeah, tonight, the Baltimore Orioles hosting the Redbirds, and the Cardinals are looking to go 8 games over 500.
Yeah,
Miles Michaelis is
first
starting.
time in 3 years.
I know, right?
They reached that. And, that game last night could have easily gotten away from us. We'd have lost that game last year. And the Cardinals fought back. Nolan Arenado hits a dinger to give him the lead, and they never looked back.
That's exactly the guy. Other than, I would argue, Jordan Walker, Arenado's the guy that you want to get a huge hit late. I mean, for the team to win, it doesn't matter. But I mean in terms of getting a positive feeling and maybe something to build on, seeing Jordan Walker do that late in the game, I think, is a little nugget in that basket of his growth, right?
No question.
You don't necessarily need that from Arenado, but I'm saying for growth, because Walker needs to continue to get better and better offensively since he's going to be part of their future. It's really important, but it's also great to see Arenado do it just because he hasn't offensively been, it hasn't been great. He's been really good in the field.
Yes.
He's putting together a Gold Glove campaign at third base. It just hasn't really been there offensively for him. So
his April
that's
wasn't
huge for him
bad.
too.
His April wasn't bad.
Right. He started off pretty well.
But May's been a struggle.
Yeah.
And so that was good to see. And those back-to-back triples, something I've very rarely seen thing in baseball is back-to-back triples. And Burleson and Walker did it. And I can't remember the last time I've seen back-to-back triples.
I don't know that I've seen it either. Are you buying into this team?
Oh, I'm all in.
You're bought in.
I'm all in.
Now,
I don't think they win the World Series.
Are you one of those people
Yeah.
who fluctuates like the rest of the fan base does?
No, I've been pretty consistent on this ball club from spring training. I thought they were going to be better than people thought they were going to be. And, there's a lot of talent in these young guys. And, we're seeing it certainly out of Brendan Donovan, who's having just an unearthly type season. He's on pace to break Matt Carpenter's all-time single-season doubles record. And you've got what Mason Wynn is doing now. He got off to a rough start, but he's playing very well now. Burleson's come along. Victor Scott, the second in center field, has, I think, exceeded expectations. And then Ivan Herrera, this guy could be.
He can hit.
He could be a genuine superstar in this game if he keeps hitting the way he's hitting right now.
Yeah, and it may not be as a catcher, but he can definitely hit.
Yeah. And I do think catching every day does take away from your offense. It would have to. You've got your exceptions, Johnny Bench, but that physical exertion every day and the balls ricocheting off your head and various body parts, that can't help your ability at the plate.
No, Buster Posey did it.
Yeah, he was.
He could hit and also caught primarily, but you're right. It does. It takes a pretty good toll on your body.
It does. And I remember the year Yachty hit 300. It was unbelievable that he was able to do that.
It's amazing. I don't know how you can. That's why a lot of times in the minor leagues, and Kevin Wheeler can speak to this too, they will, if they've got a guy they know can hit, they might try to steer him away from that position.
Yeah, I think Herrera long term, if he stays with the Cardinals, and I hope he does, he probably takes over that first base position once Contreras' contract is up.
It very well could be the case. Gorman got in last night. He got a triple. I think we said it was Gorman and Walker who got the back-to-back triples last night.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is and we've talked a lot about that on the Gas House Gang, about him not getting the at-bats when coming into the season. That was the expectation, that there was going to be enough room for him to play every day. And he just hasn't gotten the opportunity because Arenado is still here. And I'm not saying he should play, but it is unfortunate that they're not able to find out more about him by allowing him the runway, they've been able to allow Jordan Walker and all the other younger players.
Yeah,
like
and
Victor
then what
Scott.
do you do? Because in all likelihood, Arenado's back next year.
Yeah.
And there's no place for Gorman. And if you move on from Gorman and he turns into a 35 home run a year guy, which is possible, that would be a big regret.
You have gone to games this year.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about this team?
The defense.
They are playing so well.
They make plays that are eye-popping, and they do it regularly. They turn double plays in critical moments. They're exciting. And, they run some on the bases. I think this team, they're nowhere near the league leaders in stolen bases, but their base running, going from first to third, scoring on a shallow sacrifice fly because of their speed, that's fun to watch.
They are a pretty fun to watch team, and just like last night, evidenced in last night, they're never really out of it. And they gave up the lead.
They did.
In that game. They found a way to come back. Granted, Baltimore is a bad team. They're not good. I think they're better than their record.
They are.
I don't know if they're significantly better than the record, but they are better than what they've done this year, which is really, really bad. They are 19-35. So I think they're better than that. I don't think they're as bad as what we've seen, but they're still not good. So you're supposed to win those games. You're supposed to beat bad bullpens like they have, and the Cardinals did it last night. You beat a bad bullpen.
They did. They absolutely did. What's your impression of Matt Holliday's kid?
Yeah, he's got a future.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, he's got a future. How about Dylan Carlson, making big plays in the field and getting big hits?
Yeah, we were talking in the last segment about developing players, and this was a guy, this was a can't-miss guy.
Right.
So much so that we were unwilling to deal him.
That's right.
In pursuit of Juan Soto. And then it just didn't work here, and for reasons inexplicable to me. But, he seems like a nice kid. I wish him well, and he's not exactly lighting the world on fire. He's had a pretty good stream of, 3 or 4 games?
Right.
So, we'll see whether he develops.
He's motivated.
Oh, against Cardinals.
Well, you should be motivated anyway, but these guys are human, and there's a little extra motivation when it's a team to let you go.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's right. But time will tell on Dylan Carlson. But he's no longer a young pup. He's got to be 26, 25.
Yeah, no, he's right. He's not like Holiday, who's 21.
Right.
Like that kid's got a long career ahead of him.
And he looks like he's 15, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a future in the game. Yeah. And a lot of times that happens when you come from the pedigree that he does. His dad, really, really, really good ball player.
Yes.
And you learn from him, and you're around that all the time growing up. You have an advantage over a lot of your peers. It doesn't mean you have more talent than kids you grow up playing against necessarily, but you have an advantage because you have access to that. You have access to learning from somebody who was such a great ball player.
Well, and you got some pretty good genes in there too. That doesn't hurt.
Absolutely. All right. News Nation Washington correspondent Joe Khalil will join us when we come back. John Hancock off the top of the show mentioned Trump sort of threatening Vladimir Putin, saying that he is playing with fire with all of these attacks in Ukraine lately. So we will talk to Joe Khalil about the latest on that when we come back on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, if you can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
65 degrees and cloudy in St. Louis. The high today will be 74.
Brought to you by Visit Missouri.
When you golf in Missouri, the courses are so close, you'll spend more time on the fairway than the freeway. After the back nine, enjoy our world-class dining and distilleries, shops and spas, museums, and more. Find your new golf MO at visitmo.com.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
John Hancock is in for Amy today. I'm Chris Ranji, 104.1 FM KMOX. Time to go to the guest line this morning. And as we mentioned, President Trump has said that Vladimir Putin is playing with fire after the latest rounds of attacks that he has done on Ukraine. And to talk about what's happening now with us, Joe Khalil, News Nation Washington correspondent, joins us on KMOX. Joe, we appreciate your time. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
So we don't usually hear the president speak out so strongly against Vladimir Putin. Usually he tempers the things that he says about him. Does this seem like a bit of a different tone? And if it does, is there anything really behind it?
Yeah, it absolutely does. I mean, over the weekend, he called Vladimir Putin crazy, which is not unusual for American leaders. We've heard senators and House members and former presidents call Putin a killer and a thug and worse, but we haven't heard it from Trump. And so this is a sort of shift in tone for him. And I mean, the reason is pretty obvious. All last week, President Trump tried directly to get involved in the peace negotiations, trying to bring Russia and Ukraine to the table. The U.S. has made sort of demands of both sides, and Ukraine has done virtually everything that the U.S. has asked in terms of trying to get to a peaceful settlement. Russia has not. In fact, they've done the opposite. In the week when Trump was trying to intervene and, get a peace deal, Russia ramped up its aggression in a serious way, dropping like 90 plus missiles on Ukraine in that week when, again, the peace talks were happening. Russia killed something like 30 innocent civilians and injured 160 more. So there's an obvious frustration here. Remember, President Trump on the campaign trail said in the first day in office, he would solve this war, this conflict. Now, that may have been hyperbole, but clearly he had an expectation that he could do more to bring both sides to the table. And clearly there is one side, Russia, who began this war, that's not cooperating at all. and it's frustrating, President Trump, and he's sort of lashing out because of it.
U.S. policy on this seems to indicate that they would like to see Ukraine cede some territory to Russia in order to get a ceasefire and get to the end of the line. And I don't personally see that happening on the side of Ukraine. Is American foreign policy at this point neutral between the two sides?
It's sort of a shifting thing. Quite honestly, we've heard people acknowledge that it is likely that they see some kind of American brokered peace deal where you're right. Some of the territory that Ukraine had lost, potentially back to 2014, might have to remain in Russian hands. The Ukrainians are not happy about that. The new territory that Russia had made gains in since 2022, since their invasion, certainly it seems like Ukrainian leaders are pushing back in a significant way. That may be a red line for them. So, it's hard to see what the deal might look like. We've heard rumblings about it. Nothing on paper, has been released, and President Trump certainly hasn't released any specific details himself. What is clear, though, again, in the last couple of weeks, is that when the United States has said, let's have a temporary ceasefire agreement so that we can at least begin these talks in earnest without killing, Ukraine has consistently come to the table and signed on. And Putin would have phone calls with Trump where Trump says, I think the phone call went well. And then the next day he's launching missiles into Kyiv again.
So we know that Vladimir Putin's issue, one of the issues, is that he does not like the expansion of NATO. He does not want them to expand eastward at all. And already they have expanded into Scandinavian countries. So is there anything there that this president, President Trump, would look to do to placate that?
Yeah, you could certainly see that part of some kind of negotiation to end the war might include a limit on Ukraine entering NATO, or might include a period of years before which they would be able to formally enter NATO. That kind of thing, we have also heard discussed. Now, whether Ukraine will agree to that is another question, but certainly something like that could be on the table. I think it's a bit of a fool's errand to, take Putin as an honest broker here, because, over and over and over again, over the years and multiple presidencies, he's made commitments to the United States that he himself has not followed. So if there's a commitment where, he makes a demand of when Ukraine can ever enter NATO, if they ever do, and then he would have to hold up his end of the bargain. I just wouldn't. I don't know what American president, in their right mind would trust that he would hold up any end of the bargain there. So that's where it gets really tricky. You're not exactly dealing with, people who have a reputation for honoring their word on that side.
Joe Khalil is our guest. He is the News Nation Washington correspondent. You hit the nail squarely on the head there, Joe. Putin is a dishonest, malign broker in the international community, and he takes Crimea in 2014. Everybody says they're going to walk away. Now he invades in 2022. There's absolutely nothing that would tell us that even if we get a ceasefire and even if we get an agreement, what kinds of safeguards could be put in place short of NATO membership that could give the Ukrainians a sense that they're going to be protected long term?
We're seeing Europe really take that mantle up in a big way. Europe has increased its own defense spending. When people think of NATO, sometimes you hear, European countries not paying their fair share. People might think it's a big pot of money and everybody pays in. That's not exactly how it works. NATO membership means you spend 1 or 2 or 3% of your GDP on your own military. Those are the NATO commitments. We've seen European countries step that up a bit. We've seen actually just this week, Germany saying that they are now going to provide more long-range missiles to Ukraine so that they could potentially do more offensive attacks into Russia, deeper into Russian territory. So I think it's that kind of thing. Long term, it's a hard question to answer, and I don't envy those at the State Department and Secretary Marco Rubio and the Trump administration who have to try to figure this out, because it does seem like over the years, several American presidents have tried to do a quote unquote reset with Russia. President Obama, that infamous reset button. George W. Bush said, he looked Putin in the eye and saw the measure of the man and saw someone who he could trust. It seems like president after president have been sort of lulled into, a sort of false sense that, this time it could be different. So again, it's going to be a tough challenge in terms of long-term security for Ukraine. If the long-term security means a more stable Russia.
Joe, let's turn our attention domestically here, because the big, beautiful bill has its approval from the House of Representatives, but it's going to face a fight in the Senate. Just how big of a fight is that going to be?
So there are several Republican senators. I can count 5 immediately off the top of my head now, who have issues with the bill. And the problem is, it's not because they're all united, these 5. The really tricky part is you got 2 of these senators that say, we need to be cutting more. And then you have 3 other senators who say we need to be cutting less. So that's going to be a real push and pull for Senate Majority Leader John Thune and for Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who sent this bill over to the Senate. The concerns are that, some say Medicaid cuts and reforms go too deep, right? So you have your Susan Collins, your Lisa Murkowski's, your Josh Hawley's even, closer to home for you folks, worried about people who may lose Medicaid coverage. And that's certainly a big deal. On the other side, there are some other Senate Republicans who say the cuts don't go deep enough. We need to be cutting more spending. So how this is going to look is between now and the 4th of July holiday, Senate Republicans are going to really be scrambling to make some changes. But the big challenge over all of that is whatever changes they make, it's going to have to go to the House, back to the House. And if it is a monumental task to pass something in the Senate, it is significantly harder with Republicans' very small majority to pass anything in the House. So that is a real tightrope that Republican leaders are walking now. I think Speaker Johnson likened it to walking on dental floss over the Grand Canyon to pass something like this in the House. But they did it once, so they may have to very well do it again. And there are a lot of question marks as to how this is going to go and whether they can get full buy-in from their own side.
Yeah, I mean, you've got on the anti-deficit side, you've got Rick Scott of Florida, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, and Rand Paul of Kentucky, and at least a couple of those guys are on the ballot in 26. So that complicates all of this. When you look at these red states and their Medicaid recipient percentages, and the fact that a lot of Medicare recipients of late have been voting Republican, it's going to make the politics of this thing, if not untenable, extremely difficult, isn't it?
And that's exactly what Senator Hawley has said. He said, look, Republicans under President Trump, this sort of MAGA movement has become a movement where the party is looking out more than it did in the past for working class voters. But if they are the party of working class voters, then obviously that means you're going to have a lot of people who rely on Medicaid. And what the bill calls for are reforms to Medicaid, things like work requirements. But where that gets nuanced and tricky is you may have people who very well want to work, who are working, but who may be working, hourly jobs, and there's a minimum of hours you got to work. So if there's a month where, you don't control your own schedule or your hours and you're not getting the hours that you want, all of a sudden, do you lose your health care? I mean, those are the serious questions. And again, where it gets really complicated. And there are estimates that tens of thousands, if not more, will lose their Medicaid coverage under this bill. But Republicans continue to say that's not going to happen, that this is bluster. But these are coming from estimates from nonpartisan entities that assess these bills. So, Senator Hawley may very well have a point here, and that's why he says that until some changes are made, he cannot support the bill. Remember, the Senate has 53 Republicans. So for them to pass it, they need to hit 50. Because if it's a tie vote, then Vice President J.D. Vance comes and breaks the tie, the bill passes. They can afford to lose 3. They cannot afford to lose 4. And right now, as you and I have been talking about, there are more than 4 Republicans who at least have concerns, if not outright opposition.
Do we have any idea what the constituents of some of these Republican senators are telling their representatives, telling their senators, not to vote for this because they don't want to lose Medicaid, because they don't want to lose their benefits?
I mean, we know that senators' offices have been getting phone calls. Certainly. The tough part is, I'm not in there screening calls
right.
for who's actually making these calls. So, Republicans will sometimes say it's a bunch of Democratic activists blowing up their phones. I don't know that that's true. I have seen outside the hearings that I've been at as this bill was being voted on and crafted, we saw hallways full of people who were protesting with signs and concerns. And, that is very real. You don't often see big, massive crowds like that outside of congressional hearing rooms, but I saw them. I was there just, last week or 2 weeks ago. So there's obviously nationwide, there is a lot of concern that people may lose their health care. It may just be one of those things, too, where if it happens and that is a consequence, that's when you might get the real backlash. Remember, every single member of the U.S. House is looking ahead to 2026. There will be midterms. They will have to answer to voters. And many senators, as you point out, many senators will have the same reality in 26. So, usually simple, basic math of politics is people don't like when they have something that's taken away from them. They like when they get things, right? Very basic. So if all of a sudden, in earnest, people start to lose health coverage or are denied access, people who genuinely are not cheating the system and are trying to work and do the right thing, you could see that being problematic.
So the Republicans have to get this done. And because if they fail, this is going to be the only significant piece of legislation likely to pass in this next 2 years, perhaps the next 4 years. What is the timeline that you think is necessary to get this done by before the politics of 26 intervene?
Well, so there are a couple deadlines. So the Senate says that they have wanted to get this to the president before the 4th of July holiday. Whether they can do that, that is, we'll see. Sometimes they impose some arbitrary deadline to get the process moving. The government does run out of money at some point here. And that X date, as they say, is, end of August or into September is what we've heard. So it seems like before September, there would be real economic calamity if this is not done by then. They would need to raise the debt limit, which Republicans have added as a measure into this bill. Also remember that President Trump's 2017 tax cuts do expire. So if this bill doesn't pass and nothing is done, those tax cuts expire. And what the practical impact of that is that virtually every American will see a tax increase. So for those reasons, and Republicans are campaigning on that, actually. Republicans are saying, by Democrats not voting for this, Trump big, beautiful bill, that Democrats are voting for a tax increase. That would be the practical reality if nothing passes. So there are a couple of, deadlines that are serious that if nothing passes by then, we're going to be in serious trouble. So, August, September, you imagine is sort of the last date, unless they do something else where they raise the debt limit independently and then give themselves more time, sort of kicking the can down the road. Certainly that's possible. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. So they have, summer's right around the corner here.
That's Capitol Hill correspondent for News Nation, Joe Khalil, with us on KMOX. Joe, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Happy to be here.
I got John Hancock sitting in with me, Chris Ranji, here on 104.1 FM KMOX. When we come back, did you see this? John's favorite segment.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Setting goals for retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, tune in to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All, Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX. You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zero Res a call today. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them that Dave Glover sent you.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Where are you going, Terry? Terry!
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Another RX Watch brought to you by Onder Law.
There's an evil new twist in the tragic story of baby powder and its link to ovarian cancer. Recently uncovered documents reveal that talc can contain asbestos.
The same asbestos that we know causes mesothelioma.
Right, and ovarian cancer.
In the 1970s, the industry wrote its own rules, allowing Johnson & Johnson to claim that its talc was asbestos-free, as long as it contained less than 1% asbestos.
Of course, Johnson & Johnson helped write those rules. So while we're using hazmat suits to remove the asbestos from our homes, Johnson & Johnson was telling women it's safe for their bodies.
Unbelievable. So if you've used talcum powder for feminine hygiene and contracted ovarian cancer, call Onder Law at 1-800-RX-WATCH.
They've already won several large verdicts against Johnson & Johnson for women just like you.
Call Onder Law at 1-800-RX-WATCH. That's 1-800-RX-WATCH or go to rxwatch.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Well, John, I got bad news for you.
Bring it on.
If you have not booked your Southwest flight yet,
yeah,
now you got to pay for bags.
Oh.
Did you see that Southwest Airlines has announced that it will cost you $35 to check your first bag, $45 for the second bag if you check two, and it starts today. So if you book a flight today on Southwest Airlines, no more free bags. Remember that bags fly free thing?
I do.
It's out the window.
Times are tough, I guess.
That is out the emergency exit.
Got to pay for your bag. But a carry-on bag
starting
is still
today.
free, right?
That's right.
I'm going to have to fundamentally change the way I pack that.
And because you and I are on the same wavelength on that, because I overpack.
Yeah, you got to take stuff. You got to have stuff.
I always overpack.
Lots of stuff.
I always overpack, and I always use about 40% of what I've taken with me.
But you never know.
You never know
which 40% is going to be relevant on the trip.
And the last time I didn't overpack, I was a pair of underwear short.
See there?
See?
Yeah, I always take extra because, it rains, you sweat. I mean, who knows? Stuff happens out there.
Don't like it.
I don't either.
Anyway, one of the appealing things about Southwest Airlines, one of the most appealing things about them is now over as of today.
Wow, it's a sad day in America.
It is.
Well, I found some life lessons this morning in the shower.
Well, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. The shaving cream, I shave in the shower. And
you have a mirror in there, or do you wing it?
I do it blind, as you can see.
What?
So I pick up the shaving cream. It's all gone. It's about a dime size in diameter, maybe 1/8 of an inch tall. And instead of getting out and getting more shaving cream because I was warm in there.
You use soap.
No, I made it work. I covered my whole face, telling me that over the course of my life, I have probably wasted 150 cans of shaving cream because you never use it all when you spray too much. And the other life lesson I learned, Raj, this was the name brand. This was Edge. So when it was done, it was done. When you use the off brand, a lot of times with the gel, it kind of straggles on there for a little while, and you got to hold the top down. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And it just kind of strings out, and it takes a long time. I want to die like Edge. When the shaving cream's gone, it's gone. I don't want to linger out of the can for another 15 days or whatever it is. That's the thing I learned.
That's the Louis C.K. joke.
I want to die like Edge.
He's talking about how the last week of your life costs $100,000.
Yeah.
And he's like $100,000 for more. You don't want that. You want to go quickly. Yeah. All right. May you have your wish, John. Just I don't want it to be anytime soon.
Me either, buddy.
Because I love having you around. All right. Hey, hour 2 of the show. We got a lot coming up. As I mentioned, Blake Jackson of the Battlehawks will join us at 10:15. John Rooney at 10:30. John Hancock is with me, Chris Ranji, today on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education, but that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Community America is stepping up in St. Louis and showing what excellence in banking looks like. Or in other words, they're winning. Opening more branches? Win. Competitive loan rates? Win. Wealth management? Win. Which now makes sense why they asked me, Cardinal shortstop Mason Wynn, to tell you. That's win with 2 N's, not one. It's time to bank like the Mason winner you are. It's time your financial partner was invested in you. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life.
An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
It is 10 o'clock. We have partly cloudy skies now, 65 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. The Lyle Mansion in Carondelet Park burned overnight. Andrew Weil with the Landmarks Association was upset to hear the news, saying it's what they feared most as efforts move slowly forward to protect and preserve the home.
The city actually paid an architectural firm several years ago to do a very detailed needs assessment of the building, as a first step toward reactivating it, revitalizing it. And so there is a very detailed plan, and that's what Alderwoman Schweitzer and I were planning on speaking about soon.
The Lyle Mansion was built in 1842 and was what was once the country far south of downtown. The city owns the mansion, which has been vacant for some time and is one of the oldest frame homes in the city. Weil says until the city gets serious about securing vacant properties and prosecuting trespassers, this will continue to be a problem. Tensions are escalating between the U.S. and Russia as the country shows no sign of ending its war on Ukraine. President Trump now says Russian President Putin is playing with fire.
Even as the administration pushes for a ceasefire, even as the Ukrainians say that they want to negotiate for a ceasefire, Russia has been intensifying its attacks on Ukraine, air attacks, drone attacks, some of the heaviest attacks that we have seen in the war so far.
That's CBS News correspondent Nancy Cordes. Elon Musk criticizing the centerpiece of President Trump's legislative agenda, saying he's disappointed in what the president and Republicans call his big, beautiful bill. Musk says it undermines the work of his Department of Government Efficiency. It's a significant fracture in the Trump-Musk partnership. This song just broke the record for the longest run ever on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Teddy Swims released this song 2 years ago. Lose Control was on his debut album, I've Tried Everything But Therapy, Part 1. The tune has been on the U.S. singles chart for 92 weeks now, the longest run ever. Taking a look at your forecast, which is sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, pennmutual.com/STL.
Clouds and some sun this afternoon with a spotty late afternoon or evening shower, the high 77. Partly to mostly cloudy later tonight. There can be a shower toward daybreak, the low 62. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Partly cloudy and 65 degrees now in downtown St. Louis. Times are always changing, but Penn Mutual stands a test of time. The 178-year young mutual company is leading the way in life insurance. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. It's 10:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
This is the Chris and Amy Show, but no Amy today. She is on her 11th vacation in 2025. Is it 11?
Pretty good run.
Yes. Yeah, Matt Pacheski says. Yeah, dude, she has the life. John Hancock is here. Chris Ranji, thank you so much for listening today, streaming on the Odyssey app, watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX. We love that you do that. And we also love that you, as a city, as a region, have really come out strong in our effort with the Red Cross. And the donations, we are still taking them because the people impacted by the storm on May 16th are going to need your help, going to need our help for quite some time. This is not the sort of thing that'll be over in a month or two. This is going to take a very long time. But so far, awesome. KMOX.com/Red Cross. We have raised, in conjunction with Fox 2 and the Red Cross, $245,000. So just over that amount. So it's a good chunk of money, but it will go quickly. We know things are expensive and, the recovery is expensive. So they will need every last penny of it. So if you are able to, the minimum donation is $10, but you can donate whatever you want. You can go to KMOX.com/Red Cross and also feel confident knowing all of the money that we raise is going to stay in the area. So people in Missouri who are affected by the storm, and that storm crossing over into Illinois, people in Illinois as well. All of it stays here in the St. Louis area.
Yeah, and the other thing you don't think a lot about in a situation like this is that there's going to be some number of St. Louisans whose homes have been decimated, and they're not going to be able to rebuild here. And I remember I knew a family who had lost everything in Katrina back in 2005, and they couldn't afford to rebuild. I don't know whether it was insurance or whatever the situation was. And they had a connection to a family in St. Louis who took them in. And these folks literally had nothing, and they had to rebuild their lives and start rebuilding. They had to find jobs. They had kids they had to get educated. It was, a period of time. And here we are now 20 years hence. That couple and their kids are grown. They're doing very well. They've got good jobs. But that was a very traumatic period in their lives. And I would suspect that there's going to be people from St. Louis who may have lost everything and don't have the wherewithal to rebuild, that are going to have to start a new life
somewhere else.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing you can't plan for, and most of us never even think about as a possibility, but it's a real possibility for probably a number of people who have lived in the city.
The estimation is that 70% of the people who were affected don't have homeowners insurance
in the North St. Louis area.
In North St. Louis. So, the inability to rebuild is real for a lot of those folks. So they will have to go if they have family in, wherever it is, Alabama, Tennessee, Michigan, wherever they have family, they might end up leaving. And it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be a huge number of people to where it shows up in population.
A much smaller thing than what Katrina was.
Right.
Was just massive.
But it's also the sort of thing where we lose population as a region. We don't want anybody to leave for any reason. Right. We want people to stay here for whatever reason. And to have anybody leave, I don't think that's necessarily good. But for them, it is devastating when you've lived in a house your whole life, and maybe your parents lived there, and maybe your grandparents lived there too, to have this happen to you and to not have the means to rebuild. That is difficult. And I think you're right. I think there are going to be a number of folks who would just have to leave town and go somewhere where they have family.
I mean, you think about losing everything. I mean, your house, everything in the house, damage, gone, and no place to put it. All your stuff, your sentimental stuff, your valuable stuff, all of that. And in a tornado type situation, it's entirely possible that your car is destroyed as well.
Right.
And I mean, it is literally losing everything. And man, my heart goes out to people that are in that circumstance. And I know between 150 and 200 people still in shelters here living. And the National Guard's on the ground in St. Louis today, so that's beginning to assist some. FEMA, I think, will step up to the plate. I hope will step up to the plate, because those 70% of folks in North St. Louis that don't have insurance, that's their only resort at this point.
Now, some of the natural disaster funding that was requested by Governor Kehoe for storms that happened back in March and into April just now got approved. So that's a process that takes a long time. Right. So this tornado from May 16th, are we still looking at about another month or so before we know?
Man, I could be. I hope not. I've seen disasters declared in very real time, very quickly by the White House over the years. And I would hope this one would be granted soon, because that's what triggers FEMA, and that's what begins to trigger the relief. Thought it was interesting. One of the Board of Aldermen members talked about the Rams settlement money, and not the principal, the $250 million, whatever it is, but it's earned $30 million in interest so far, and he's proposed using that $30 million immediately to begin helping people with city resources. I thought that was an interesting idea.
Do you? So how much have the federal cuts, do you think, and maybe we don't know for sure, but everything that's happened over the last few months, has that slowed down the process of why it took weeks and weeks for parts of Missouri from the storms that happened in March and April to finally get that approved? Should that have been done quicker? Should it be quicker here, what happened in St. Louis, a couple of weeks ago? It seems like it shouldn't take that long, but maybe they don't deserve it, but I'm giving the benefit of the doubt that with the red tape, maybe it just takes a long time to get this approved.
I don't think we can say with any certainty that the DOJ cuts have impacted this, but I also can't say with any certainty that they haven't. It's unclear to me, other than USAID, it's unclear to me what the extent of the DOJ cuts beyond that program really are. And there's a lot of dispute about what's even on the DOJ website. The 100, and now I think they're up to 185 billion that they've cut. But a lot of that's not even been verified yet by independent sources.
Yeah, I don't know that the DOJ cuts are going to have the effect. And here's what's interesting is that the polling, you ask the general public, most people are supportive of the idea of a Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah, I am.
I think everybody is. If you tell them what it is and you say, hey, it's not attached to Elon Musk, he doesn't have anything to do with this. There just is a government efficiency office, okay? And they're going to go through and make sure that we're streamlining everything. Most people would be on board with not wasting money,
That
right?
should exist, yes.
Yes, but then if you ask them, and this is true, if you ask them if they approve of the way Elon is doing it, overwhelmingly they said no. So it was just it wasn't, what they did was not efficient. It doesn't appear to be very helpful. The idea of it sounds great, but the practice of it really seems to be an absolute mess. And I do think that some of these government agencies are going to suffer in ways we don't realize yet, like this, the NOAA, NOAA with their weather predicting abilities, like that help, the National Weather Service and predict storms like were happening, a week and a half ago here. Like that stuff has all been affected. And I think that we're going to find out, hopefully not in a tragic way, but we're going to find out just how bad it is sometime soon. John Hancock, Chris Ranji. When we come back, the Battlehawks, they are playing on Friday, another Friday game for them, Friday night. And they're going to be a playoff team. Did you know this?
I did know
that. They're in the playoffs. Well, the Battlehawks are going to play on Friday against DC. Blake Jackson, Battlehawks receiver, joins us next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-355-8282. That's 800-355-8282. Again, that's 800-355-8282.
I really need funding to expand my inventory.
Swish Funding can help you expand inventory, upgrade equipment, and boost your cash flow.
Well, okay, but I need funding fast.
Swish Funding provides funding from $25,000 to $2 million with payment terms tailored to your needs and cash in your account in less than 24 hours.
So what's the catch?
No catch. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000, you could qualify. Just go to swishfunding.com to apply. That's swishfunding.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Marilyn Facer recommends 3-day kitchen and bath.
Working with Dave was an absolute delight. Once everything was scheduled, everything went perfect.
Have you ever had a remodel done before?
About 25 years ago, and it was a nightmare.
Was 3-day kitchen and bath on time?
There was no delays. Everything was on time. All the deadlines were met. Everything came at once.
Would you recommend 3-day kitchen and bath to your friends and neighbors?
I highly recommend them to anybody.
Top quality products and craftsmanship in 3 days or less. Call 3-day kitchen and bath. Always on time as promised, at the price promised, and your job comes with complete satisfaction guarantee. No ifs, ands, or buts. Visit their website at 3daykitchen.com. That's 3daykitchen.com.
3-day kitchen and bath.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
11:20 a.m., 104.1 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
They go with the pop pass, and it's an option 2 pass, and launching it is Jackson. Oh, and they hit on it! They hit on it again! Hakeem Butler, a trick play! Blake Jackson to Hakeem Butler! What a show they're putting on here in St. Louis!
The Battlehawks.
That was exciting.
Playoff-bound Battlehawks are in action again this Friday, 7 o'clock in D.C. The Battlehawks are 7-2, and they'll be taking on the Defenders. We go to the guest line this morning, and we welcome in Battlehawks receiver Blake Jackson, who is with us on KMOX. How's it going, Blake?
Hey, guys. How's it going, man? Thank you for having me on.
Hey, we are happy to have you on, and we love talking to Battlehawks players. Pretty much everybody we've talked to has been a great deal of fun, and I think a lot of it has to do with being on this team and the amount of fun this team must be, especially considering you play in a building where people in St. Louis come out to support in a huge way.
Yes, sir, man. This year has been definitely one to remember. Everybody on this team we've been preaching since training camp to have fun, to remember that this is football and it's a game, and even though it's our profession, it's our career, that just to remember to have fun, remember the little things, and it's been evident in the way we've been playing. So yeah, man, we're gonna keep it going and carry that over into the postseason.
I see here you spent some time in Cape Girardeau as a quarterback for the Southeast Missouri University.
SEMO.
Where are you from originally?
So I'm originally from Houston, Texas. I actually have family that lives in a little small town outside of Joplin, Missouri called Crane.
I've been there.
Yep. Growing up, remember growing up, I was there every year. for Thanksgiving and the summer and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, man. So I'm familiar with the area, Missouri, and everything.
Yeah. So Blake, it's interesting because you don't see it a ton where you've got a guy who's played quarterback in college and then moves to receiver, which you did. What was that decision like? Was it all your decision? Were you sort of, goaded into doing that, or how did that come about?
Yeah. So whenever I was coming out of Mary Hardin Baylor, I had some scouts that came up to the school to like work me out before my pro day. And pretty much the scouts were just saying, just off of like the level I was coming out of and my measurables and all that kind of stuff and height and weight. But the way that I played on the field, they said that I might want to transition and try out receiver. So I started training receiver and watching film on certain guys that were already doing it in the league and just try to, mimic what I would like and teach myself in a way how to run routes. And I just got to work and studying all the ins and outs of the receiver position. And once I learned it and got in front of the scouts, that was it.
Well, first of all, did you push back against it? Did you not want to? And then secondly, once you decided to do it, how quickly did you take to it?
No, there was really no pushback from it. I remember it's crazy how God works and with your journey, man. I remember coming out of high school, I had an opportunity as a dual threat quarterback to go to like big Power 5 schools and play receiver as an athlete, and I had turned that down then to stay at quarterback. And then whenever I was transitioning from SEMO going into the transfer world, I had the same thing. Guys telling me, hey, if you want to play receiver for us, then we can get you here. And it was a bigger school than the school I ended up going to. And then I ended up playing quarterback, and I was glad I stuck with it. And now we fast forward to today. Man, it's such a blessing. I didn't. There was no, pushback on my end because more of like, hey, man, I get to have this opportunity. I just want to put myself in the best position to have the opportunity to play professional football at the next level. So I did that, and I wouldn't change anything.
So when I was in high school 100 years ago, my best friend got recruited to Arkansas. He had been a running back, and they converted him into a wide receiver and a kick returner. And he gets drafted by the Seattle Seahawks, and he's their kickoff and punt returner, and made the Pro Bowl his first year as a kick returner. And I would have to believe that that's one of the most scariest things to do on a football field. How do you like returning those kicks?
Man, the return game is fun. That's something that, little league and middle school and high school, like if you played football and you were an athlete at some point in your career, even no matter what the position you played, you returned the ball. So that was something, that wasn't new to me. I've done it. Been playing football my whole life. I've done the return stuff before, and it was just kind of just going out there and taking care of it, trusting in my ability, trusting in my athleticism, just go out there and make plays.
Well, you do it very well. And, one thing I've observed about this team through the interviews that we've done with the various athletes, I sense that there's a strong faith commitment by a number of members of this team. Has that helped? Has that helped kind of bind you all together as a cohesive unit?
Yes, sir. Of course, a lot of guys on our team are faith driven and faith based, and that feeds over into just off the field stuff as well. Guys linking up together to go to church, guys linking up for Bible study, guys just praying together. We faced some adversity through the year, through this season, and I feel like we've overcame that adversity just based off of believing in God and God's journey for us as a unit.
Battlehawks receiver Blake Jackson, he's number 8. He is with us here on KMOX, and you've got the game coming up on Friday night, so it's another Friday night contest. You go back to your high school days of playing on Friday. Do you like Friday? Do you like Saturday? Or do you like Sunday? What do you prefer as a football player?
Man, I prefer any day I get the touchdown on that field and get on that field, man. It doesn't matter. It could be a Monday, a Tuesday. It could be any day of the week, and we're going to go out there and perform, man. So it's just a blessing.
So you got the playoffs. You got one last regular season game that's fairly inconsequential. But the playoffs are right around the corner. What can you tell me about your opponents that you're going to see in that conference championship?
Yeah, man. We know what their strengths are. We know what their weaknesses are. We have a great, game plan for them, and we're going to live by what we've been living by all season, man. We just go out there and we do our 111. Everybody takes care of what they need to take care of. We don't need no Supermans. Everybody just play their role. Everybody know their role and make their play when their number's called. We're gonna have a great season. Great into our season.
We should mention that we already knew that the UFL championship game was going to be here in St. Louis. That is June 14th. Well, also the conference championship game now is going to be here in St. Louis. Yeah. Just because there was some sort of conflict or something in Washington, D.C. So that conference championship game is going to be here, too. So we have, we've been telling every player, Blake, who's come on the show in the last few weeks, that you have to get to the championship game now so that you can play in front of the home crowd. So you have to promise to do that.
Oh, yes, sir. That's a promise I can keep, too.
You can keep it?
Yes, sir. We can keep that promise.
Well, okay. Well, I'm going to need more detail. Tell me how you're going to keep it.
He's going to get a 73-yard punt return, Ronj.
Yes, sir. We're going to get you a touchdown on special teams, get you a touchdown on offense, and yeah, man, just everybody taking care of business. We're going to be there.
6 sacks. We're going to sack the quarterback 6 times.
But can you also get me another trick play? Because you had the 57-yard touchdown pass on a trick play.
Yes, sir. Hey, if we're at a point in the game where that's what we need, then we're going to get it done. But we can get it done without with all the trick play stuff. I feel like we can still get it done.
I enjoy watching this team so much and always have.
Yes, sir. It's a fun year. It's been a fun year, fun team.
Talk to me about the coaching, because I feel like your coaching staff is A+.
Yes, sir. So it's evident in the way that our team players, if you can tell, how we go out there and we perform, how we handle ourselves on the field, off the field. That's a testament to our coaching staff, man. From top to bottom, from Coach Beck all the way down to, it doesn't matter. It's everyone. Every single coach has played this game, has played this game at a high level, has been coaching this game at a high level, has been around the best of the best, so they know what it takes to put together a winning team and a championship team. So that's something that you could tell that, and I'm grateful for as an individual. I'm grateful for just the coaching staff, man, and what they bring to the table. Each person always brings something. That's football wise, but also in life, man. We have a lot of guys that bring their philosophies to us every day, every week, and they're teaching us how to be better men on and off the field.
All right, so Friday road game. It's your last road game, really, of the season, because however long the Battlehawks go, they will be playing at the Dome at America Center. So that is Friday night, 7:00 against the DC. Then the following week again against DC, but this time will be at the Dome. So we're looking forward to having you back here in St. Louis. Blake, good luck to you, and you promised a championship game, so you have to deliver now.
Yes, sir. Of course. I appreciate you guys, man.
Don't show them any of the good stuff on Friday.
Yeah.
Save it.
Oh, yes. Of course.
Yeah. So you're going to, there's going to be a little bit of that, right? Holding back.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, no. I mean, we're going to go out there and we're going to do what we need to do to get the win, and however we need to get it, we're going to get it. And then the next week as well, whatever we got to go out there and do, we're going to get the win as well. So, it's going to be a great postseason for us, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Blake, and good luck to you Friday. Good luck to you next weekend and the weekend after that. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all, man.
That is Blake Jackson, the Battlehawks wide receiver. He's number 8 on the field. And again, they will be playing in DC Friday night at 7:00. It is their last regular season game. Then Sunday, June 8th, it is a 5:00 game. They'll get going to 5:00 at the Dome at America Center. Championship game is the following Saturday, so they better win. I think they're going to. I think we're going to see a Battlehawks championship this year. I believe it. When we come back, John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, joins the Chris and Amy show John Hancock and Chris Ranji on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA. So we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
In St. Louis, it is partly cloudy and 69 degrees. Nice. It's going to be 74 today.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
We are Metro Transit. We don't just help ourselves and our neighbors get where we need to be. We help our whole region get where we want to be. Get on board at rideonmetro.org.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Dr. Albert Kim.
It's just really scary when someone hears that they have a brain tumor. We're here to help you, guide you through that, and also to have a treatment plan that you can understand so you can be successful in terms of not only clinical outcomes or something sterile like that, but also so you could have a fulfilling life.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX, sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
Wynn plays behind the runner at second base. The pitch. Ground ball to the first baseman. That's picked by Burleson. He kicks the bag for a Redbird winner. Henderson is out 3 unassisted, and this ballgame has come to an end. The Cardinals even the series with a 7-4 victory at Camden Yards.
Cardinals can win the series tonight. It is a 4:40 pregame show and a 5:35 first pitch right here on 104.1 FM KMOX. As the road trip continues, we welcome in now. We're joined by John Rooney, radio voice of the team. And John, this team continues to never be out of it. They gave up the lead last night, but they found a way to come back and win it again.
Well, that's the way they've been winning games lately, Chris. They've been hitting late in games and keeping the pressure on the opponent. That shows us how well Charlie Morton pitched in his game on Monday, where the Cardinals really couldn't get anything going against him. And then they got to some relievers at the end of the game that had not been used as much over the weekend series in Boston. And that was not a good combination to try to come back from a 3-run deficit late in the game. But last night, the Cardinals got down by a run, and Mason Wynn came up with a huge RBI to tie the game in the 7th inning. He drove in one of the runs in the 8th inning, and that's after Arenado gave the Cardinals the lead with a homer. But it was a very exciting 8th inning. Arenado's home run, back-to-back triples, and then a hit by Mason Wynn, and the Cardinals were able to go ahead and put the game away. And good relief by Steven Matz last night, who did pitch long enough and effectively enough to in the eyes of Major League Baseball to get a win. And the save was a good one last night. Very good stuff for Ryan Helsley.
Yeah, the bullpen has been, well, it's a tale of two cities. Early in the season, the bullpen was losing some games late. We had Fernandez lost a couple. But in this streak we're on, 16 out of 22, the bullpen's been amazing, hasn't it?
Well, the bullpen is setting up. And, John, when you get the bullpen set and Oliver can get at least 6 innings out of the starting pitching, then you can ride that bullpen for a good long time, as the Cardinals have over that stretch of 21, 22 games where the Cardinals have really won some good, well-played, tightly played games. And that's part of a young team learning how to win. But if you don't get the bullpen set up anymore, it's going to be hard to stay at 500 and then compete for a playoff spot, because other bullpens are going to line up ahead of you. And then when we get to October, it's definitely a bullpen game anymore.
Well, I know there was a little bit of concern with Lars Nootbaar because he was going through that stretch where it just hadn't been working for him. He wasn't getting the hits. But, last night, couple of runs batted in, 3 for 4, had the home run. And he sort of broke out of that in a pretty big way.
Everybody's going to go through that. And Lars was going through his stretch where he was putting the ball in play, striking out some. A very frustrating day Monday for Lars and for Walker, striking out, taking a called third strike with runners in scoring position. But he was able to break out last night. That hit the first time up, kind of like a jump shooter. You get that first shot down, and that guy in basketball is going to score some points if he's a good player, good shooter at all. And Nootbaar was able to pick up on it, and then he hit the home run to right field. I think that really energized not only Nootbaar, but this entire Cardinal team. They go through that, though. Guys are going to go through some slumps and have to make some corrections and get right back in the proper frame of mind and put things together, as Nootbaar was able to do last night. But Mason Wynn got off to that slow start this year, and boy, did he pick it up after about 22, 23 at-bats. And as I said, everybody goes through it at some point, and hopefully somebody else in the lineup will pick that particular player up until that player gets going again.
I've seen back-to-back home runs probably, I don't know, a couple, 3 dozen times over the course of my baseball watching life. I don't know that I've ever seen back-to-back triples. And Gorman and Walker, 2 guys you wouldn't suspect to be hitting back-to-back triples, that was big for them. And how rare is that in baseball, John?
No, it's very rare. I've probably seen it maybe once and twice, including last night. It doesn't happen often. Back to back, I'm not sure I've ever seen that before last night, but I've seen 2 triples in an inning before, a time or two. It's very, very rare. It's like, what's tougher, hitting for the cycle or a pitcher pitching a no-hitter? They're both very rare. So that was kind of fun to watch. And in this ballpark, it's a triples-type park where you get the right carom off the wall with all the angles in the wall here at Camden Yards. And their right fielder, Kerstad, just couldn't make the play. The ball went off him for the first triple, and then Walker hit one high off the wall they've tinkered with the walls so much here, it's hard to see whether it's going to be a home run if it gets over a short wall or up into the seats over the high wall. But Walker kept on running, and that's what I credit both players for doing. They were running hard out of the box and gave themselves a chance to get to third base, and they were rewarded with triples.
Mason Wynn, you mentioned him. He got a big hit last night, which tied the game, and it tied the game at 4. As you've seen him from last year to this year, what have you seen in terms of his growth? Is there something that really sticks out to you?
No, Mason is just getting better and better. That's what stands out. I mean, he's a young player who is getting his feet on the ground at the major league level. He doesn't make mistakes in the field. He's a good base runner. He's not a real base stealer yet, and I think at some point he will be as his career evolves. But I think it's just a young man taking advantage of games played and repetition and being out there and growing and gaining the strength to play a 162-game schedule. I think that's one of the hardest parts for the real young players coming up from the minor leagues with not all that much time in the minors to get used to. But Mason's doing that. I think we're seeing steady growth and pretty much what they expected from Mason Wynn, knowing he has a cannon for an arm, good range, and he makes the play over the shoulder in left field, left center field about as well as any shortstop I've ever seen. He's incredible going to the outfield on those short fly balls. And we saw one last night. No way Scott had a chance of making a play, but Wynn just made it look like it was an everyday play for him.
Last thing, John, before we let you go, the Missouri Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame induction is happening on Friday in Osage Beach, and you are the MC for that. Tell us about the event.
Well, it's going to be a great night from St. Louis. We have Joe Buck, Rod Jacober is going in, and Jim Jackson, our engineer extraordinaire, who went into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame last November. So he gets the daily double by going into the Missouri Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame. And I'm really glad that the Missouri Broadcasters are honoring technicians, engineers who built stations, engineers who have worked a long time with broadcast crews like Jim has with the Cardinals. And he's also done the Blues. He did the Rams, and he's been involved with a lot of college basketball with the Billikens. And I'm so glad that he's being honored because sometimes those are the unsung people. And Jim is the most important person in that booth when he's a producer engineer and has been for so many years. And Ryan Schulte is doing a real good job so far with us on the road, as Jim is just doing home games now. But it's a wonderful evening where the Hall of Famers get to tell their stories. And Julie Buck is going to interview Joe Buck. Normally we do a video and this and that, and trying to coordinate that with Joe's schedule. We thought it would just be better if Julie came up on stage and interviewed Joe and talked about life with the Buck family and then his career. And it's going to be a really fun night. The Missouri Broadcasters do it up right. It's a very, very special event and one that I'm looking forward to if I can get back there. That's the thing. We're waiting this out today. I don't know if we'll play today. And in that event, we don't fly to Texas tonight, and I was going to fly home from Texas tomorrow. They'll have to play tomorrow. So I'll figure it out. I'll get there. I'll show up, even if I have to, come in my sweats and do the show coming off the airplane. But
whatever you have to do,
we'll make it.
Whatever you have to do, man.
That's what we do in broadcasting. We adapt and do what you have to do. But if the folks haven't had a chance to take part in the Missouri Broadcasters Association inductions, it is a wonderful evening, and the same for the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. The stories, the speeches, and the people involved, it's a great way we have in our state to honor those who set the table for us. Jack Buck is in there, Harry Carey. We also have Mike Shannon, Jay Randolph. They're in the Missouri Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame. Mike Claiborne went in last year. I went in 21, and it is something I'll never forget. It was just a great time.
All right, John, enjoy Friday nights, and hopefully there's some baseball tonight. If not, then tomorrow. But I expect you either way, whenever it's played, to call a winner.
Well, if I have to leave tomorrow, it's up to Ricky and Claves the rest of the trip. But
Okay.
I'll tell him you said that.
No, I mean, you don't get to be a part of it.
Uh-oh.
That was
I can't wait. I'm calling them the moment we hang
here we
up.
go. That was an for your benefit because you don't get to be part of the win.
Oh, you're backtracking now. Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
Not good. Not good.
Thanks, John.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
That is John Rooney, voice of the Cardinals. And as scheduled, we'll see if it happens. 5:35 tonight, first pitch. 4:40 will be the pregame show. Hopefully. Otherwise, I guess they're playing tomorrow. That's the first I've heard of it.
They'll try to get this game in. I assume the Orioles must have an open date tomorrow as well.
Right.
And
well, they will get it in whether it's tonight or tomorrow. Yeah. They will wait because
this is the only trip.
This is the only trip to Baltimore, and they don't want to have to go back there and play it later in the year for one game. So
right. There are some seasons when it's irrelevant where they just cancel that game and the team only plays 161. I've seen that happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but
right.
It does happen.
It does.
Yep. So we'll see if there's baseball later on tonight. John Rooney, again, Missouri Broadcast Hall of Famer, and he will be emceeing that event at Margaritaville Lake Resort in Osage
think about
Beach.
The historic broadcasters that have passed through this place. It's really remarkable. All the way back to Franz Laux.
Who?
Franz Laux, buddy. The voice.
Should I know that?
Yeah, he was the voice of the Cardinals at one point.
That does not sound familiar to me.
Well, he was there.
I believe you. Dizzy Dean. Yeah, of course.
Games.
Yeah, Dizzy.
Milo Hamilton called some games.
Hamilton. I remember him with the Houston Astros.
Joe Garagio.
That's right. Of course.
We've had some great broadcasters.
It is a highly sought after gig. I mean, all Major League Baseball play-by-play is, because there are only 60 of those jobs in the country,
except for the Rockies. It would be horrible.
No, you would want that job.
Yeah, no, I get it. But to have a team that's so bad and to have to go night after night and watch it, that would be tough.
As challenging goes in broadcasting, I guess that would be.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
to have a bad team.
Some pretty lean years doing the White Sox, right?
We had some good ones, though.
You did.
When I started, 06.
Right after the World Series.
Right after a World Series. Yeah. They had a playoff year in 08.
Frank Thomas, Paul Konerko. They had a good ball club.
Really good team. Mm-hmm. Really good lineup. Then 2008. And then pretty much every other year, not so great.
Yeah, right. What's the deal
not
there?
So
Are they just poorly managed?
Bad owners.
Bad owners.
Bad ownership.
Right.
He is Jerry Reinsdorf's not very good.
Yeah.
He just isn't. He wants to win,
but he doesn't want to spend any money.
He wants to win in a very specific set of parameters.
Mm-hmm. That
he always has to get a good deal, and if he doesn't get a good deal, then he doesn't get the player. And
how long has he had that franchise?
Since the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did the Comiskey family own it up until then, or was there a different ownership?
No, I think okay, so I'm a little confused. Bill Veeck, I think that family owned part of it. Bill Veeck was part of
the Browns.
The Browns here.
He's the one that moved the Browns to Baltimore.
Yeah. So no, but look, as an owner, I get it. You have a budget and you want to stay within your budget, within the framework of it. I totally understand. But in sports, sometimes you have to extend yourself a little bit.
Well, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, the richest contract they have ever given anybody is, I want to say, Jose Abreu, $75 million total.
Wow.
That's
so never
horrible.
Had $100 million contract.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can't sustain that in this day and age.
In market 3, it's the third biggest market of the country.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah,
it's not a commitment. Yeah, of course you want to win, but it has to be done in this little tight window here. It's got to be perfect right here. Well, then you're not going to win.
No.
Good luck. And his Bulls team sucks too. Do you know how bad of an owner you have to be when your fan base wants you to die? I'm not kidding. They want him to pass away because he won't sell the team otherwise. I'm not joking. That's John Hancock. Yeah. I'm Chris Ranji. This is the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We are are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're from Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Not available in all states. Rates vary. Building a financial safety net for your family can be tough, but with term life insurance through Ethos, you can have peace of mind that they can pay the mortgage and other bills if something happens to you. With coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online, Ethos finds your best rate across our multiple trusted carriers. Some policies as low as $1 a day billed monthly. And even in uncertain times, your term life insurance rates and payout don't change. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life.
Looking for the perfect townhome in St. Peters? Don't miss the display grand opening of the Towns at Linneman, Saturday, June 7th from 12 to 5 p.m. Tour our brand new decorated display, enjoy appetizers, and enter our prize giveaway. Visit us and discover luxury 2 to 3 bedroom townhomes with 2-car attached garages and unparalleled community amenities, including a pool, pool house, dog park, and more. Plus, enjoy pre-construction pricing up to $25,000 off. Visit us just south of 364 west of Jung Station Road. For more details, visit lombardohomes.com.
This is Mason Wynn of the Cards. Community America asked me to tell you what it feels like on Profit Payout Day, when our members get a portion of the profits. I'm thinking it probably feels like opening day. Exciting, new, or even better, I bet it feels like playing the star shortstop who turns a game-winning double play. And the fans go wild. They ask for selfies with you and autographs. You get a lifetime supply of free stadium hot dogs. Yep, that's basically what it feels like when you get your profit payout. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Spring is here. Time to have your valuable trees inspected by Gamma Tree to enhance the beauty and safety of your trees. I'm Tim Gamma.
I'm Tom Gamma. Don't trust your trees to just anyone. Call the pros at Gamma Tree, now in our 71st year.
Our talented staff of certified arborists can survey your trees to determine their needs, whether pruning, fertilizing, pest control, or removals at the highest level of professionalism.
Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Call Gamma Tree today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores. And look, I've been a customer of theirs since 2013, and there's a reason for that. Supplement Superstores is the best. They are always on the cutting edge of science, so when they find better products, that's what they work with. And they also have the best people. All of the employees at Supplement Superstores are certified sports nutrition specialists and personal trainers. So they'll work with you to build a simple eating plan and workout routine that fit your goals. And by the way, they do that for free. So to find your Supplement Superstores location and get started down your path to success, go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
What day is it? Wednesday.
Wrong.
Yes.
It's Tuesday.
Is it? Actually, no, it's Wednesday. Yeah, he's right.
Did I lose a day?
Yeah.
Chris and Amy show, but no Amy. Vacation. John Hancock, Chris Ronji. Charlie Metzner, who is the founder of the St. Louis Hero Network.
I know him well.
And Brian McKenna Day is coming up on May 31st. And that's just a few days away from now. So Charlie's going to be in to talk about that event.
Cool.
We had JC Corcoran in last week. I think it was last Thursday or Friday. And he's going to be there for a lot of people are going to be in attendance because everybody loved Brian. So John, here's the deal.
Yeah.
I know that you are a horrific driver.
Not the best.
It doesn't take that much to be good at driving. You just have to apply yourself.
Well, I do apply myself.
But part of the problem I've noticed in Missouri, it's not exclusive to you. People here can't drive. They're not very good at it.
Good.
And we're all
in the same boat or car, as it were.
One of the aspects of Missouri drivers that really bothers me is that y'all don't honk. You don't honk when it's time to honk.
No, we're not big honkers in Missouri. That's true.
No, you are not big honkers. But I should not have to be 6 cars deep at a green light that has been green for 4, 5, 6 seconds. I should not be the one to have to honk. If you are the car that is behind the lead car and that car is not moving when the light is green, it is your responsibility to honk. Now, I know when I'm 6 cars back and I'm honking at the guy in front of me, he's thinking, what are you honking at me for?
Right.
I can't move. That's a pass it forward honk. That is a honk that I'm giving to you to give to the guy in front of you who gives into the car in front of him.
It is frustrating. And
honk, go.
Here's the thing, because St. Louisans really are kind people. I mean,
yeah.
And I'm not a big honker either. But here's the problem with honking. You can't differentiate the honk. So somebody's going to slam into you. You need it to be honk. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. But for the guy that's not moving at the green light, you need a honk. And so if they had a 2-tiered honk system on the car, couldn't be that difficult to implement. So you'd have the, oh my gosh, get out of the way honk, and a, hey buddy, move it along honk. Then I think you'd see the honking activity escalate with very kind and generous St. Louis drivers.
Well, okay. I think there's something unkind about waiting for the person in front of you to realize the light is green because you're holding up everybody behind you. You should be doing the public service. And you should be honking at the car in front of you to start moving.
I don't want to jar the poor guy. I mean,
no. Yes, you do. You need to wake him out of his slumber.
Maybe he's tuning out of listening to me on the radio.
It doesn't matter. There's no excuse for you to be at the green light, not paying attention. And if you get that the point about the honk is you hear it and then you come to attention and go, oh, what's going on? Oh, green light. Sorry, I'll go. However, you might be onto something. And I would be in favor of there being a separate, hey, buddy, wake up, honk.
Right.
The light is green.
Yeah.
They could do it like the tornado sirens.
Yeah.
Where it says, this is a test of the emergency alert system, and it could just be a voice that says, hey, the light is green. You may go.
Put the beep beep, the Roadrunner sound. Beep beep. That would be good.
Whatever it is.
There should be a law.
I want you
problems, what we do.
Listening to be a honker. I want you to be a proactive honker.
Yeah.
And if you have done it, I want you to tell us about it.
And if you're first
the next
in
time
line,
you do it,
you've got a responsibility to the public.
Yes.
And don't forget it.
Yes. The next time you honk, to be proactive, I want you to let us know about it at 314-436-7900. We will celebrate you on the Chris and Amy show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, St. Louis homeowners, are you thinking about upsizing, downsizing, or relocating this year? This is Debbie Monterey, and when life happens and you need to sell your home, I recommend you speak with trusted realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands every seller situation is unique, which is why she's created custom programs to fit every home seller's needs. Many people move out of necessity, like for a new job or financial challenges. And that's why Gloria's created her guaranteed multiple cash offer program, giving you up to 6 of the best offers with at least 1 at 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. Plus, you sell faster. Gloria did this for the Miller family in Clayton and got them more money than they were expecting and within their time frame. Gloria did it for them. She can do it for you. Get your offers today by calling Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SCHEV.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise. But the one thing we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies. 314-991-9005 or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918-615.
Hi, I'm Travis McGowan of the Travis Group, a health insurance brokerage. At the Travis Group, we specialize in helping individuals, families, and small businesses make sense of their health insurance options. Whether you're turning 65, your kids are aging off of your plan, or you're looking for better accident and hospital coverage, the Travis Group is here to offer honest-to-goodness health insurance guidance. As a St. Louis native, husband, and father of 5, I know how important it is to protect what matters. Visit us for more information at travis4insurance.com.
It is partly sunny and 68 degrees in downtown St. Louis at 11 o'clock. I'm Debbie Monterey. Debris from 100-year-old crumbling homes on Enright Avenue and surrounding streets still on the ground 12 days after an EF3 tornado hit North St. Louis. Allie Rand, who lives in the Central West End, has been taking off work to lead volunteers to help her neighbors on Enright get cleaned up.
If every contractor listening to this or skilled labor could give me 8 hours of free work, just give me 8 hours. We can put you on a roof. We can get real stuff done.
Rand says all of the dumpsters and earth-moving equipment that has shown up has been from volunteers and not the government.
Porta potties on the streets and dumpsters to fill up your trash. These are just basic human needs. And those people who have stepped up and seen that and put the dollars completely out of their mind, they are carrying the city right now.
Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe ordered 41 troops from the National Guard to head to North St. Louis today to bring relief to those volunteers. The city of St. Louis officially requested help from the Guard on Friday. For years, preservationists and history buffs have been trying to save and protect the Lyle Mansion in Carondelet Park. Overnight, it burned, causing extensive damage. Andrew Weil with the Landmarks Association says the city actually paid for a detailed needs assessment of the property it owns with an eye toward reactivating and revitalizing it.
There were a lot of actually pretty exciting ideas about how this was going to be funded and how this was going to come about. So really the timing of this fire couldn't be worse.
Weil says fire in the vacant mansion was one of his worst fears. Not long ago, the historic Quinn Chapel nearby burned to the ground. The Lyle Mansion was built in 1842, one of the oldest frame homes in the city. He's hopeful the home isn't a total loss, but it did suffer extensive damage. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says a senior Hamas leader has been killed. We get the latest from CBS's Elizabeth Palmer.
Apparently, he was killed in a strike on the European hospital on the 13th of May, so almost 2 weeks ago now, which is probably means that the Israelis have spent that time doing forensic tests to make sure that this body from that strike really is Mohammed Sinwar.
Sinwar, the younger brother of Yahya Sinwar, the Hamas leader who helped mastermind the October 7th attack that started the Israeli-Hamas war. Top weather agencies warn that the world should get ready for several years of even more record-breaking heat that pushes the globe to more deadly, fiery, and uncomfortable extremes. Wednesday's 5-year forecast from the World Meteorological Organization says there's an 80% chance the world will break another annual temperature record in the next 5 years, and we'll see more heat deaths, wildfires, nastier hurricanes, downpours, and droughts. The weather is brought to you by FanDuel Sports Network.
Clouds and some sun this afternoon, or the spotty late afternoon or evening shower, the high 77. Partly to mostly cloudy later tonight. There can be a shower toward daybreak, the low 62. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's cloudy and 68 degrees now downtown. Cardinals fans, there's more ways this season to watch the Cards on FanDuel Sports Network. Watch through your TV provider or new this year. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals. Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com for details. It is 11:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Gas House Gang is coming up at 12 o'clock, and after City, it's fun, isn't it?
Yes.
After City SC relieved their head coach Olaf Melberg, we are going to talk to Taylor Twellman, St. Louisan and soccer analyst. He's going to be with us at 12:30. Tom Ackerman and me. Again, that's from 12 to 1 until 12 to 1 today for the Gas House Gang. It is time to go to the guest line today, and the founder of the St. Louis Hero Network is Charlie Metzner, who is joining us now because Brian McKenna Day is coming up in a couple of days on the 31st. And Brian was a huge supporter of the network, which is a nonprofit that supports first responders and military families by promoting their businesses here in St. Louis. And Charlie Metzner is with us on KMOX. Charlie, we appreciate your time today. How are you?
Good morning. Still morning, right? Yep. Good morning.
Yeah. I do that every day. When I've been up for a few hours, I just assume it's the afternoon. So this event, which is coming up here, I know that for Brian McKenna, it's would have been a very big deal, right? I mean, this is a day for him, but to do anything to support the St. Louis Hero Network, he was in on that.
Yeah, he was there by our side as our brand ambassador. And by connecting our first responders and veterans to the community and allowing our community to support them and their family, he was an intricate part of helping us do that and carrying on our mission and raising funds for first responders and veterans, even in their darkest times. We miss them greatly.
Yeah, Charlie, I haven't seen you since January, but it's good to visit with you again.
Well, I appreciate everything you did, Mike. I really do.
Well, thank you. And it's good to know that you guys are doing so well. And Brian, talk a little bit about Brian, though. His philanthropic spirit was just unbelievable. And what a great loss to the community.
Right. I mean, he was an exceptional legend of St. Louis, especially in the South County and more recently in the St. Louis South City area in St. Louis Hills, where he resided for the last several years. I mean, he was everybody's friend. He was one of my best buddies, but everyone would call Brian a friend because he treated everybody like he was their best friend. And he was very special. You know, I was talking to somebody, I was talking to one of his family members the other day, and I was like, when somebody gets to like a platform, you know, Brian, everybody knew Brian, right? Everybody, he had this big platform. Everybody, you know, loved him. And, you know, he did so many great things for the community. Usually when you build a platform like that and you get all this visibility and people know who you are, you're going to have detractors or maybe even haters. Everybody loved Brian McKenna because of what a person he was and how he made every person he came across feel.
Charlie, the big day is happening Saturday. It gets started at 2:00. It goes from 2 until 7. Macklin's going to be closed between Devonshire and Nottingham, and that's where this event is going to be. Do you want to tell people more about what they can expect if they come out to this event?
Oh, it's going to be epic. I mean, One thing I wouldn't do, so I don't forget, ride share. It's obviously, this is like city blocks. There's no parking lots. I expect hundreds, if not thousands, of people to show up because of what kind of a person Brian was. But yes, it's 4 blocks of just frivolity, live music. There's going to be vendors there. That's where they have Macklin Days. So there's tons of bars and restaurants. Some of his favorites, like, the Mac, our stands that, him and I would even visit, very frequently. I mean, hung out at Pueblo Solis and TJ Twiggs and be part of it. Cyberg stepped in. I mean, it's going to be just a great day just to celebrate a life of somebody very special to this community.
Man, and there's so much cool stuff here. You got the Fix Newton Band. They play 80s and 90s stuff. They're going to be entertaining everybody. J.C. Corcoran's going to be the MC. I mean, I think this might be one of the coolest events in town.
Well, what I like to see is it become an annual event. I mean, there's nobody that I would like to see like that to have a event annually named after them. I mean, if you didn't like Brian, here's what I'd say about Brian. If you didn't like Brian, there's probably something wrong with you.
But I'll tell you what, I met Brian a couple of times over the years. One time when I was an intern, and then one time here in the station about a year ago. And the guy was just, I'll never forget my interaction with him. Just as an intern, we were covering one event together, and it was the only time at that time I had been around him, and he was just so nice and and I didn't know what I was doing, so he sort of, helped me through the event and just really a wonderful guy. And everybody who knew him well, just like you, Charlie, talked about how great he was.
Well, it's so funny you bring that up because I've been given examples to many people who are in TV and radio and where they told me stories where Brian made them feel comfortable, took them out on a wing, say, don't worry about it. We got this. Positivity and, optimism was Brian's middle name. It was never about Brian. It was always about someone else. If he was having a bad day, he would never show it and always be totally into what you're doing and totally worried about how you're feeling.
Well, it was over 25 years ago, and I still remember it. It's just one of those things where I never forgot that, and it was maybe a couple of hours, and that's it.
Yeah, that's
right. I heard that from Annie Banker and a couple other people. I'm trying to remember their names off the top of my head, but different sports people brought their name up to me. Vic Faust brought his name up.
Oh, yeah.
Said the exact same thing.
What a legacy. What a legacy that is. Tell me about the Hero Network. It's a really unique concept. I think you may be the first one in the country to kind of put this together. Tell us what you do and how people can access it.
So it's a marketplace for first responders and veterans to promote their businesses. We currently have 215 first responder and veteran owned businesses here locally in St. Louis. So I don't want to say it's like this, but for layman's terms, it's like, say, using Angie or Home Advisor, but only using first responder and veteran owned businesses to support them and their families, whether it be while they're still active or retired. It's a way to help the families of people who support, who protect and watch over our community.
And the variety of services and businesses. I mean, everything from accounting to roofing to, drywall.
Mike, I got a hand to you. You always pull out the best things out of me. Yes, it has like financial advisors. It has, from painters to car mechanics to anything and everything you can think of. It's a business a first responder or veteran could have. It can be on there.
The website for this is stlheronetwork.com if you want more information on St. Louis Hero Network. And again, Brian McKenna Day happens on Saturday, gets started at 2:00, goes until 7. Then there's an after party at the Mac. There's going to be a DJ there, but there's food. There will be, as John mentioned, a band playing. The Fix Newton Band will be playing there. It's free to go, but I want to make sure I've got this right. Your people cannot bring coolers, right? So you can't bring your own booze or whatever. You
can't bring your own booze, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great day. I mean, something that I don't know exactly, and this is all about the family and what the family decides to do, but Brian wrote this to a T about how he wanted this to go. So he knew he'd been battling cancer for years. Like I said, he never made that anybody else's concern, but he knew that there might be a time when he would have some final wishes he wanted to do. And he didn't want a funeral. He didn't want a big, he didn't want anybody to be sad that he was gone. He wanted a party, and he wanted this party almost verbatim the way we were putting it on. I should say his friends and family are putting it on for everyone for McKenna Day on this Saturday between 2 and 7.
Well, Charlie, enjoy yourself there, and thank you for all the good work you're doing here in St. Louis. We really appreciate you being with us today. And again, Saturday at 2 until 7 o'clock on Macklin between Devonshire and Nottingham. That'll be a fun time. Thank you, Charlie.
4 blocks of fun. Thank you.
That is Charlie Metzner, the founder of the St. Louis Hero Network. Got John Hancock with me here on KMOX. In for Amy Markscores, I'm Chris Ranji. Debbie Monterey joins us from the newsroom because she went through a bunch of mail of other people. At least that's the way I understand it. Or maybe something different happened. Something different happened. Debbie's got a really great story, and I can't wait for her to tell you about it when we come back on KMOX.
Start your summer with a weekend showdown. Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers roll into Busch Stadium June 6th through the 8th. Be there Friday for a cool new promo, the first ever Cardinals neck fan. Perfect for hot game days. Then on Sunday, young fans 15 and under take home a Rawlings Kids Glove. It's a weekend of big matchups and big giveaways. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Mason Wynn, St. Louis Cardinals for the Loop.
The school year is finally over, and it's summer vacation for all our teachers. Celebrate at Busch Stadium. Teachers Night, presented by Millipore Sigma, is back at the ballpark on Monday, June 9th. With the purchase of a special theme ticket, you can take home an exclusive Teachers-inspired Cardinals jersey featuring the birds on a pencil. As a special treat, the first drink of the summer is on the Cardinals. That's Monday, June 9th. Teachers Night at the ballpark. For tickets and details, visit cardinals.com/theme.
This is Steven Matz, St. Louis Cardinals for the Loop.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I really need funding to expand my inventory.
Swish Funding can help you expand inventory, upgrade equipment, and boost your cash flow.
Well, okay, but I need funding fast.
Swish Funding provides funding from $25,000 to $2 million with payment terms tailored to your needs and cash in your account in less than 24 hours.
So what's the catch?
No catch. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000, you could qualify. Just go to swishfunding.com to apply. That's swishfunding.com.
For 57 years, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been one of St. Louis's top names in home improvement because of their commitment to put quality and professionalism first in everything they do. This is Debbie Monterey, and I can tell you from personal experience that they will give you the best and longest lasting outdoor products available with skilled installation teams who carry out their mission to be the very best in customer service and quality craftsmanship. Whether you're looking for fences, decks, sunrooms, screen room, patio, retaining wall, or more, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is a company that you can trust with your home. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll also offer you 48 months interest-free financing, which should go a long way. Go ahead and do your homework and call around and get bids, but you will find that you get the best value with Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Visit them in the Chesterfield Valley or online now at chesterfieldfence.com. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
All right, so when Debbie Monterey from the KMOX newsroom was driving into work today.
The early bird out getting the worm.
Hi, my mic's
Was
not.
it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
It was
yesterday.
When you drove into work, there was mail on the street, like just
everywhere.
So the post office dropped a bunch of mail on the street?
I'm going to assume. Okay, so for people who are trying to picture this, I'm driving down 14th toward Enterprise Center. And right at 14th and Clark, there are always a ton of mail trucks because the headquarters is just
Right there.
on the other side of Enterprise
I
Center.
think all of our mail goes through there.
Right.
At some point.
Yeah. And so usually at that hour of the day, the only people on the road are me, mail trucks, and drunks coming home from the bars.
Yeah,
That's it. And so, and I'm usually, I'm not asleep, but it's 4 a.m. So I'm just driving in, you know how you do. And I get towards the light. I'm like, what is it? At first I thought maybe somebody knocked over a garbage can, but then I realized this is mail. And as I started looking around, there was tons of it. And those bins, those sort of kind of white,
corrugated
bins that they use for the mail. There were a couple of them smashed in the street and just some piles, like pretty significant piles, and then just mail scattered everywhere. So I just stopped my car because there's nobody else on the road. And I just started videotaping it. And then I didn't know what to do because obviously you can't call the post office at 4 a.m. No one's answering the phone. So I called 911 and no one answered the phone. I thought, I don't know if I should call the police, but somebody needs to get this mail off the street and it's not my job. What am I going to do? So anyway, I tried 911 a couple times and then I tried the non-emergency number when I got to the newsroom. And then I was trying to find a number for the post office. But then fortunately, Frank Ladd came in a couple minutes later and he said, oh, they're cleaning up a bunch of mail in the street. And I thought, oh, good.
Okay.
Somebody's cleaning it up. Thank goodness. Because it just disturbed me to see all that mail sitting in the road.
And this is a question that maybe we should get to the bottom of. Do you know if you're allowed to touch mail that's not yours? Is it a federal offense to clean it up if it's left on the street?
Probably. I mean, it's not in somebody's mailbox, right? So it's on
maybe
the
not.
street.
Here's my question. So was it?
Did it fall off the truck?
Outgoing mail that was all the same, or was it incoming mail that was different?
It looked like a variety. It didn't look like one uniform type of mail, but it was, some of it was in piles, like some of it had just fallen out of a box, and then some of it was just scattered everywhere. I don't know how many, but I would say hundreds of pieces of mail.
So we haven't gotten to the bottom of how that happened, why it happened. Did it fall off a truck? Was a door left open?
I called the post office and the person who answered had no idea what I was talking about. I said, hello. I'm calling because there was a bunch of mail in the middle of the street on 14th and Clark, and I'm calling to find out why. And she said, what? And I said, this morning about 4 a.m., there was a bunch of mail in the middle of the street, and your people came and picked it up, and I'm just trying to find out what happened. And she said, I'll have to call our corporate office and have someone call you back.
The post office has got a corporate office.
Yeah, the corporate office is going to know. Sure. And then I never heard back.
So is it possible that this is like that person who was delivering for Amazon and didn't want to finish the route and just threw all the packages down a ravine?
I don't think,
about a year or two ago.
I don't think so, because
on the East Coast,
it seemed like it was my theory, and I'm guessing here, is that it probably fell off a truck because it didn't look like stuff that was being delivered by a postal carrier. It looked like stuff that was getting trucked somewhere
else. So
it
was a truck of mail. Now, here's the thing. I do know something about mail because in politics, we send a lot of mail out. So when you do a bulk mail package, they've got to be bundled in a certain number, the same zip code, and then you put them into bags usually, and you tag them. So it could have been somebody dropping off mail that it fell off of. It may not necessarily have been the post office itself that lost the mail. It could have been somebody who was delivering mail to the post office.
Yeah, that is possible.
It's possible.
The post office only gave a statement. Like later, Rennie Knott from Channel 5, I posted it on my Facebook page, and he's like, could we use that video? Because we're radio, so I didn't have anything that I could do with this video until I got something back from a statement from the Postal Service, right? Because otherwise it's like, hey, my news story is I found some mail in the street. So I said, sure, go ahead and use it. And so they eventually, I guess yesterday afternoon, got a statement that said something along the, not explaining what happened, but just saying it's our intention to get every piece of mail to, where it goes, blah, blah, blah.
Can I blame the fact that I've not done my taxes yet on this?
Sure.
That's actually not true. I did. I did do my taxes. I did them on time too.
Good for you.
And
I unfortunately did mine too, and I owed everybody a lot of money, and it was very depressing.
It's awful. I'm going to say this. I still have the most faith in the Postal Service. I think the fact that we have the Postal Service is incredible.
I'm a fan.
I'm a huge fan.
I am not a person who rips on the post office, although the service has declined, but I don't necessarily blame them. I blame the way it's being run at the top, and I do have my conspiracy theory is that they're purposely making it look bad so that they can privatize it, which I am opposed to.
I think that's exactly what
my
they
dear
would like to do.
Elderly mother, while she was still living on her own, was befriended by the mailman, Dennis. And Dennis would stop by and visit with her and cure her loneliness. When she was hospitalized, he came and visited. He came to the funeral. So I'm a big fan of the post office.
Same.
Thanks,
I love
Dennis.
the post office.
And no, not to rip on UPS because I love them, but I had to go to the UPS store yesterday to drop some stuff off, and my daughter had inadvertently ordered something from Old Navy and shipped it to me instead of to her and to Chicago. So I went to the UPS store to say, hey, I need to forward this. It was $16 to send a tiny little package. But yeah, I thought that is outrageous. I could have sent it for much cheaper with the Postal Service.
Most of the problems I've had with any sort of delivery have either been UPS or FedEx. I rarely have problems with the post office.
Yeah,
Rarely.
I generally don't either, although I know people love to rip on the Postal Service. But yes, it was disturbing when I came upon all of that mail because I don't know, there's something sacred about the mail, like nobody should mess with your mail.
You give them 75 cents and they take a letter across the country for you in 3 days.
Is it 75 cents now?
Yeah, it's like
I don't even know,
71, 72.
I don't either. I buy the
no
forever
idea.
stamps.
Well, I think that's the only thing you can
is
buy
that
now.
right? Probably
Yeah,
right.
which is handy, but also kind of, secretly evil because you never know how much you're paying. I just go into the post office and I go, what cute stamps do you have this time?
73 cents.
Oh, 73
cents.
You give the post office 73 cents to take an envelope across the country, and they'll get it there in 3 days.
You can't even get a drink for that. A Coke.
Right.
Can't get anything for that.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for getting to the bottom of this.
I didn't really get to the bottom of it.
I think it's
mystery.
hilarious, though. I think it's pretty funny. There's my mail.
There were like 3,000 views of my video on my page, and I have no idea. Channel 5 posted it. I'm sure it has a ton more. And then I just got a note from Fox 2. Could we use your video? So it's a 15-second video that
it's a mystery.
I wish I was getting paid for every view.
It's an absolute mystery.
Well, thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
You're doing the Lord's work.
Oh, thank you. At 4 a.m, you see a lot of really interesting things, and when you're driving in.
I know a couple of postal carriers. I'm gonna ask them what happened.
You've got mail.
That's different.
Yes.
That's the dial-up.
Yes.
Remember the dial-up?
Oh, I did. I had it. The AOL.
You had to
America
unplug the phone.
Online.
You had to plug it into the computer.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
You ever try explaining that to kids?
No.
They just look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
I explain nothing to children. Debbie Monterey from the KMOX newsroom. You're the best.
Thank you. Should I leave now or wait to go to a break?
You can hang out as long as you want to. Hey, how do you feel about honking at cars in front of you when they don't drive away when the light turns green?
I am not much of a honker, to be honest, but it does annoy me because if you're at the front of the line, you have a duty to everyone behind you.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
So,
thank you.
I'm not really aggressive. I just give them a little like I try to be
Hard
real
to do,
polite
though.
about it.
Hard to do that because you can't get sound a lot of times. When you try and hit the light tap, nothing comes out.
Yeah.
And
But
then
I don't want to lay on the horn because that can scare somebody. So I just kind of give them like
my contention is you should have two different horn sensitivities on your steering wheel.
Yes.
One, if somebody's about to run into you, T-bone, and one, if somebody's not going at the, I suggested the beep beep, like the Roadrunner.
Like the lady on Ladue Road who pulled right in front of me and I almost T-boned her that when I laid on the horn.
Well, that's what it's there for.
Every ounce of strength that I had.
We have a texter who says, I agree. Somebody sitting at a green light playing on their phone, I will lay on the horn. And I agree with that. And this other one says, I am an avid honker. just last week, I was about 5 cars back and the light was green for a good 4 seconds. Sidebar, that's an eternity.
That is.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi,
No,
3
4 seconds
Mississippi.
is
That's
real.
a long time to not know the light is green.
In front of the line,
So-
you have a duty.
Yes, you do. So I honked, and the guy in front of me gave me the finger. How that guy assumed the honk was for him is beyond me. People in this city are too sensitive. I agree. That's a pass it forward honk. I was 6 cars back today on Kings Highway. I honked, and the guy looked at me like, dude, it's a pass it forward honk. Pass it forward to the people in front. Debbie, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Debbie Monterey. John Hancock is here. I'm Chris Ranji. When we come back, we're going to talk to Nate Gatter. City SC has dismissed head coach Olaf Melberg, and we'll get Nate's take next on KMOX.
Homeowners, spring is here and there's no better time to sell your St. Louis home. But the agent you choose matters. So who should you call? Trusted realtor Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. This is Debbie Monterey, and here's why Gloria should be your first call. While the average realtor puts a sign in your yard and hopes your home sells, Gloria will guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. In this market, you don't want to risk working with someone who doesn't have the guarantees, the buyers, or the experience to help you sell within your time frame and for the most money. Many realtors will overprice your home just to get your business, which can lead to your home sitting on the market with little or no offers and then price reductions. If you want to sell your home for 100% of market value or have Gloria pay you the difference, call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
It is 70 degrees and mostly cloudy in St. Louis. The high today is going to get up to 75. The weather brought to you by Financial and Tax Strategies.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Hey guys, Glover here here with my friends at Michael's Baths. So, as you know, it's such a great deal. If you've been looking at other companies like Bath Fitter or 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, Mike does it local. He does it family. He's been doing nothing but bathrooms for 30 years now. And while many companies are raising prices due to tariff uncertainty, Michael's Baths is doing the opposite. They're offering $500 off any shower or tub replacement and $1,000 off a full bathroom remodel, turning market challenges into savings for their customers. 636-775-0800, michaelsbaths.com.
Tonight,
The Cards, the Orioles.
Ameren Total Access 440.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Just under the crossbar, and that'll do it. 1-0 the final. Colorado Rapids in Commerce City, Colorado defeat St. Louis City. Final score 1-0.
Are we doing the sad music?
That's the Masters.
It has been. I think it is. City SC. They have not, in an MLS game, won since the game against
2020.
No, it was in March. It's been a while. Game against Seattle back in March. It's been a rough go for our soccer team, and you've heard our next guest on soccer coverage on KMOX here on the Soccer Reports, Nate Gatter. You've also heard him on this show before. He fills in quite a bit. Nate Gatter is with us on KMOX. How's it going, Nate?
It's all right, Chris. How are you?
So I don't think I'm okay. I don't think this is really a surprise. We've been talking about this possibility for a while now, that something was going to have to change. And other than that Open Cup game that they won a couple of weeks ago, against Omaha, they haven't won a game and they're losing late leads. So something was wrong. Was it Olaf? Was he the problem?
I think it's hard to establish causality easily in any professional sport, but certainly Olaf has not been part of the solution at the very least. And I think it's fair to say he's at least a part of the problem, if not the primary problem, considering things were getting worse under him rather than better. And he had been given quite a long leash in order to try to solve the issues that they were having. And, obviously it's not a happy day anytime someone loses their job, especially, as you have often noted, Chris, someone so handsome as Olaf Melberg. But at the same time, I think it was time. And, this is professional sports is a results business. He understood that when he got into this line of work and when he took this job, and he delivered terrible, terrible results for a relatively long stretch of time. And City, if they're going to save this season, needed to do something. And frankly, if they're going to save other people's jobs, they probably need solutions over the next few months, certainly going into next season, or we're going to start to see additional carnage.
Yeah. And, I'm less acquainted with soccer than I am other professional sports, but is it a thing in soccer? Can you lose the clubhouse like a baseball manager can? Might that be something that was happening here?
You certainly can. And on top of that, I think as compared to most American sports, it's not unusual to have higher level of turnover. I mean, the typical MLS head coach is only going to last probably a couple of years. So City are not that far off that average. It hasn't been great, but for an expansion team, I think saying that they're looking for their fourth head coach now already, or they're on their fourth head coach, is a little bit of an unnecessary exaggeration. The interims don't really count in my mind. Bradley Carnell lasted a year and a half, probably should have lasted longer. At the time, I felt like he was getting scapegoated for a variety of issues, chiefly the lack of spending to flesh out the rest of the roster. And I think there's some evidence to that effect now with the fact that he has gone to Philadelphia and managed to find some success there in sort of a comparable Moneyball environment, if you will, a place where they've tended to do more with less in MLS for quite a while. And meanwhile, in St. Louis, we haven't been able to find that right fit. Now, John Hackworth had some success as the interim last year. There has been some, I don't know if you'd say reports or just rumors, that he potentially wasn't all that interested in getting the job on a full-time basis, that he sees his future in more of a front office executive capacity. And that could be part of the reason, along with just avoiding the jokes and the memes, that City didn't make him the interim again for the second straight midseason coaching change. And instead they're going to go with David Critchley, who's been there since the beginning in the academy. But certainly I think it's possible. That was one of the things, John, that was talked about when Bradley Carnell lost his job, was that there were some questions as to how he was viewed in the locker room. That was kind of exacerbated by some of the outgoing departures and maybe some of the things that they did or didn't say about him, and the apparent kind of coming together disagreement that he and Klaus had after full time in Philadelphia when they faced each other. So I think it's fair to say that can happen, and it might have been part of the reason that Bradley Carnell was pushed out a little bit earlier than I thought the results dictated. It could be part of the reason here, although I think it's harder to say that just because the results have been so poor that it's really difficult to need to look even beyond the field at all to find a problem, because the field had plenty of them.
How much of this issue with City, because it's not all coaching, obviously, and like you said, he's not been part of the solution. Well, how much of it really is the roster? Because we have talked before about the investment in the roster, which really hasn't been there. At least it doesn't seem so in proportion to the way people in this city have supported that team, sellouts all the time, that it just doesn't seem like the payroll is in proportion to that. Maybe I don't know enough about it, but is that part of the problem?
Definitely. I mean, injuries have been part of the story this year. They were part of the story last year. Everybody has injuries. It's true that City have endured a lot this season. Obviously, on top of that, Edward Leuven has had extended absences that's not explicitly related to injury, but it's sort of in the same bucket. And those kinds of things are unpredictable, and they're not really anybody's fault, or at least certainly they're not the fault of the head coach or the fault of any of the front office brain trust in particular. My concern, and you're trying to get me in trouble again going down this road, because I got myself into some hot water a couple of years ago. But my contention has been since the very first season in MLS that the investment in the team was disproportionately poor relative to the demands financially that were being placed on the fan base and how the fan base was reacting to or stepping up to those financial requests, if you will. City have been dependably in the bottom 2 or 3 in roster spending. It's hurt them in terms of depth. It's also really hurt them in terms of top line quality. For extended periods, they didn't play with the maximum number of designated players allowed, essentially not bringing in the maximum number of star players who don't count against the cap that they could have. I think that was a source of frustration for people. And I got a lot of blowback when I said that at the time, I think because people felt like, oh, we're so glad to have a team. They invested so much in building the stadium, all of that kind of stuff. They didn't want to be critical of ownership, and that's understandable. But I think this club has skated by on starting with 5 straight wins for a long time.
Yeah.
If they had won only 2 or 3 of those games, you're looking at a good but not top of the Western Conference inaugural season, married with a first-round playoff departure and nothing but lousy play over the year and a half since then. And I think the narrative that is now starting to change would have changed a lot earlier. To me, I understand that they paid for the stadium and they paid for the expansion fee, but those are part of the deal. That doesn't mean you don't have to pay anything else. And the bottom line is this has been an extraordinarily well-supported club, selling out game after game after game. And the supporters are paying season ticket prices that are among the highest in the league while seeing a roster that is among the lowest paid in the league. And at some point, either Lutz Pfannenstiel has to answer for the fact that he hasn't been able to build the roster that he claimed he was going to be able to as efficiently as he thought he was going to be able to, or they have to start spending more money, or both. So that accountability lands right now on a second head coach in as many years. Next, it lands on Lutz Pfannenstiel, who is going to be allowed probably this head coaching hire, and I imagine no more if this one doesn't work out. And then beyond that, it will ultimately fall on Carolyn Kindle and ownership, because it will be clear then that through a number of different head coaches, through a lot of roster turnover, they haven't been able to make the changes that are required. So either it's finding somebody both on the touchline and in the front office who has more MLS experience and more American soccer experience and getting results that way, or it's investing more money, or it's a combination of those two things. Because look, teams do this when they come into MLS and they have people running things who don't necessarily know the sport, or at least don't know the intricacies of it, because MLS is a complicated, unique league in how the travel works and the Americanness of it all, but most importantly in how the roster building works, how the finances work with the salary caps and the million different player classifications and all the different types of funds that get moved around. It's very difficult, and there are a lot of intricacies that take time to learn. look at a recent expansion team like FC Cincinnati, who cycled through European leadership, European coaches, until they eventually settled on two Americans, Chris Albright and Pat Noonan, a St. Louisan, as their general manager and head coach, respectively, both of whom had significant MLS experience, understood what it was going to take, not only on the field, but in roster building, how to take advantage of, or at least not get tripped up by, the roster intricacies that exist in Major League Soccer. And I think that would be the next step. City maybe are not there yet. I think it seems like Lutz Van Itschiel is going to get one more chance to try to get this right. But I think the next step after that would be that Carolyn Kindle has to try something else. And that's either spending money or it's bringing in somebody who has proven that they understand how it works in MLS, not in Europe.
I think I know this. This is the final year of Roman Berkey's contract, the goalkeeper. What's the likelihood of the team re-signing him or the likelihood of him taking a walk?
It's a good question. I think a lot of it will probably depend on how the remainder of this season goes. Because, my understanding has always been that Roman Berkey wanted to be here in MLS and that he was excited about being part of this project at St. Louis City. I think if he, at the end of the year, is encouraged by the direction of the project, feels good about the direction of the team, likes whoever this new head coaching hire is that they might eventually make, I think all of those things could contribute to him staying. There's no question that if he wanted to go back to Europe, he has proven his quality in his 3 seasons here such that he could go back to Europe and he could make more money, whether that's as a backup goalkeeper at a really big club, as a starter at a mid-tier club. But those options were more or less on the table for him when he came here. He did not come to St. Louis because it was the place where he could make the absolute most money globally. He thought that this was the right fit for him, and it was what he wanted for the next step in his career. Has he scratched the American itch after 3 years, and he's thinking, I could go for getting back in Europe and potentially making more money, playing on a bigger stage, whatever that might be? I think it's very possible, especially because you don't want a dysfunctional club that's trying to sell a guy on taking less money than he could get somewhere else. So at this point, I would guess it's probably 50-50 at best for City that they can keep him. But I think it's very possible that those odds could be improved, because I think Roman Berkey, especially when things are going well here, has seemed very happy to be here. And even when things have not been going well, he's been one of the most frequent voices who has stepped up and had those difficult leadership conversations that City at times have needed him to have, including publicly, right? He's been probably the most likely City player over these 3 years to step up in a press conference and say, this is not at the level it needs to be, and guys need to play better. This isn't about coaching. It isn't about roster. Our guys just need to play harder and play better. And he is somebody who, with a ton of experience, including at the top levels of the sport, who the dressing room can look to for that sort of criticism. He is, in many ways, beyond being refuted by anyone in that dressing room. And as a result, his voice carries a lot of weight. So hopefully, that's a long way to say I don't know, but hopefully City can get this moving in a direction by the end of the season that encourages Roman Berkey to invest himself yet again in the project.
All right. Lastly, before we say goodbye here, you said, or you used the term earlier, the salvage the season or save the season. What would that look like?
I think it has to still look like making the playoffs, because now they're out of Open Cup. So one of the ways they could have done that is trying to make a run at winning the U.S. Open Cup, because that's a way to get yourself some kind of trophy out of the season, have a high point. And, there can be value for that. But I don't see any way, no matter what they do the rest of the season, and it's not likely that they're able to salvage some kind of push for the playoffs, right? They're 8 points adrift now. That's not insurmountable by any stretch, but they would need to play dramatically better than they have, not even at a point per game pace. They're only at about a 0.7 of a point per game pace so far this year. That is not going to get it done. But when the owner of the team comes out in a headline in the offseason in big, bold type and says, we're making the playoffs this year, it's tough to say anything but that isn't a failure. Right? I don't see any way around it. Just because they played really bad the first half of the season, if they play kind of better the second half, but they still can't even finish in the top half of the conference and can't fulfill the owner's sweeping mandate and guarantee to make the playoffs that year, I think you still have to label the season a failure no matter what. That's sort of unfair to David Critchley, because he's inheriting a less than ideal situation, obviously. and a team that has really, really struggled. But maybe they can get a little new coach boost from him and get a win or two, and all of a sudden put themselves in a situation where chasing down those 8 or 9 spots seems a little more realistic. But to me, Chris, it still has to be playoffs or it's a failure. That doesn't mean Coach Critchley can't do anything to make himself a more compelling candidate for the full-time job. It doesn't mean nothing good can happen without making the playoffs. But I think the season overall would still have to be labeled a failure if they can't find a way into that top 9.
Well, let's hope Critchley knows best.
Okay. Oh, it doesn't matter if maybe he'll get pardoned. Hey, Nate Gatter, you're the best. Thank you, dude.
Appreciate you, man.
That is Nate Gatter.
Do you like that, Ron?
I know. Yes, I did. I like everything you do. For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
John Hancock is hanging out with me for a bit longer. Gas House Gang is coming up at 12 o'clock. Tom Ackerman and me. Taylor Twellman is going to join the show at 12:30. That's like a perfect time for him, isn't it? Taylor Twellman at 12:30. He's going to be with us. We'll talk about what happened with City SC. We're going to talk Cardinals, too, because they have a chance to win the series tonight in Baltimore. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The success you've already had matters at University of Maryland Global Campus because we're a school for real life. An accredited state university, UMGC lets you earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning, life, and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer affordable tuition and online and hybrid courses. No application fee if you apply by May 30th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Looking for the perfect townhome in St. Peters? Don't miss the display grand opening of the Townsend Linneman, Saturday, June 7th from 12 to 5 p.m. Tour our brand new decorated display, enjoy appetizers, and enter our prize giveaway. Visit us and discover luxury 2 to 3 bedroom townhomes with 2-car attached garages and unparalleled community amenities, including a pool, pool house, dog park, and more. Plus, enjoy pre-construction pricing up to $25,000 off. Visit us just south of 364 west of Jung Station Road. For more details, visit lombardohomes.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Dr. Albert Kim.
It's just really scary when someone hears that they have a brain tumor. We're here to help you, guide you through that, and also to have a treatment plan that you can understand so you can be successful in terms of not only clinical outcomes or something sterile like that, but also so you could have a fulfilling life.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Spring is here. Time to have your valuable trees inspected by Gamma Tree to enhance the beauty and safety of your trees. I'm Tim Gamma.
I'm Tom Gamma. Don't trust your trees to just anyone. Call the pros at Gamma Tree. Now in our 71st year.
Our talented staff of certified arborists can survey your trees to determine their needs, whether pruning, fertilizing, pest control, or removals at the highest level of professionalism.
Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Call Gamma Tree today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
Setting goals for retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, tune in to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All, Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX. You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores. And look, I've been a customer of theirs since 2013, and there's a reason for that. Supplement Superstores is the best. They are always on the cutting edge of science, so when they find better products, that's what they work with. And they also have the best people. All of the employees at Supplement Superstores are certified sports nutrition specialists and personal trainers. So they'll work with you to build a simple eating plan and workout routine that fit your goals. And by the way, they do that for free. So to find your Supplement Superstores location and get started down your path to success, go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Going for the one.
Who is this?
Yes.
Oh, I know that's going to be one of two. It's either Scott Joplin or Yes. Anytime it's
one or the other, yeah.
When it comes to you. John Hancock and Chris Ranji on KMOX. Few more moments to go here on the show. And then Gas House Gang gets started with our guy, Tom Ackerman, and Taylor Twellman is going to join the show.
So you're going to talk a little soccer, too?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little ball.
Nice.
Is that the cool way to say soccer? Footy. We're going to talk a little footy.
All right. How's the Doppler looking over Baltimore right now?
Oh, I haven't looked in a while. Yeah,
not looking promising.
Yeah, we talked to John Rooney,
Yeah.
who informed us, and I had no idea because I've not been paying attention to the weather in Baltimore, but he said it's dicey tonight.
Yeah.
That
it was a little iffy last night, but they got the game in.
Yeah.
They had some rain during the game, but they got it in.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, because maybe there's a game tomorrow afternoon instead, but we'll see. I'm going to assume that tonight at 4:40 there will be look, we're going on as scheduled. Let's pretend like nothing has changed.
Absolutely.
4:40 pregame show, 5:35 first pitch.
There it is.
I think that's perfectly fine.
Miles Michaelis on the mound for the Redbirds.
That's right, he is. Text messages to 314-436-7900. This texter says the Chevy Volt has 2 horns
there you go.
On its car. Regular is in the center of the wheel.
Yeah.
Then there's a quieter one that is a push button.
Brilliant.
Like
I could have patented that. I guess it's already patented.
So is that that's just a hey buddy.
Exactly.
The
That's
light's
what
green.
you want. A green light, that's what you want.
It's a little softer.
Yeah. That's the way it should be.
This message says the fact the guy in front of you had not honked already goes to show he wasn't paying attention either. That honk was technically for both of them.
Now, while we're on the subject, I've had a situation where you may be 5 cars back, and the first 2 cars go when the light turns green.
Yeah.
And the third guy is just sitting there in the middle of the thing. That's very frustrating.
I don't.
'Cause how do you not pick up the movement of the cars in front of you?
Are you talking about blocking the intersection?
No, it's just sitting there oblivious.
Oh, just oblivious.
The third guy in line. The first 2 guys go off as they're supposed to, and the third guy's
I see.
Sitting there.
Well, so it's similar to that. Maybe more maddening is when you're supposed to judge whether or not you can get through the intersection. Just because you have the green light does not mean automatically go. So you have to judge, can I clear the intersection? If I can't, then you have to stay where you
if
are.
There's a big line of traffic, and
because some people will just go, and then the light turns red, then they're stuck in the middle of the intersection, and then people in the cross traffic can't go.
I'm a bad driver, but I stop at the line if there's still people out in the intersection.
See, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
You have to.
Regarding the mail that was just dropped in the middle of the street downtown, this message says, I sent in taxes April 15th with 2 stamps on the envelope. It was just returned for additional postage yesterday. Took 41 days. And another message says,
maybe we've cut the IRS so much that they won't notice.
This message says, now I know why my bills were all delinquent last month. I'm not kidding. I don't think that's it. Pay your bills.
Blame the Postal Service.
If you can, or go on the run. Whatever you have to. John Hancock, let's do it tomorrow.
Let's do it tomorrow.
That's my boy, John Hancock. I'm Chris Ranji. My other boy, Tom Ackerman, is coming in. The Gas House Gang happens next.
Don't forget to thank this guy.
Yeah. Matt Pajeski, whatever. Yeah, the producer. Anything you missed on the show today, it is right there on the Odyssey app for you.
Yeah, now you might want to listen to it again.
I think you should. That's John Hancock. I'm Chris Ranji. The Gas House Gang is next on KMOX. Y'all don't honk. You don't honk when it's time to honk.
No, we're not big honkers in Missouri. That's true.
No, you are not big honkers.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. As a local small business owner for the past 25